Okie dokie, I believe we're all the way live. Hello and welcome to my graveyard. I'm your host of the evening, the Cemetery Man from Salem, Mass. Always taking names and kicking candy ass, live and in living color here with you only on Grande's Graveyard. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's that time of the week. It's Grande's Graveyard, the second edition of the new year, and it is also the second edition of the Neo Horror Special. Yes, ladies and gents, where I go back to a grand old time of the 1990s, yesteryear, if you will. An era that's bygone at this point. And in vein of that bygone era, I always decide with these shows, and I hope this becomes a Grande's Graveyard special, this type of show. This is only the second one we're doing, so we'll see. But I like to get my VHS on when I do these particular shows. And, of course, in that vein, I have some VHS tapes to review, as well as Neo horror movies. So, of course, tonight we'll be discussing not one, not two, but three Neo horror movies, and we've got them on glorious VHS. Yes, this first one we'll be discussing here tonight, of course, from the year 1999, starring the late, great Brittany Murphy. Cherry Falls. Yes, Cherry Falls. And yes, you're not seeing things. You're not taking mushrooms. You're not on psychedelics. This is a rainbow-plated VHS tape, which is fucking cool as shit, in my opinion. It's a lot better than the Soul Survivors one I have. I'll tell you that much. But, of course, the second movie we'll be talking about was, of these three, easily the biggest box office success, and a movie that a lot of people go on to kind of say is one of the great Neo slasher movies, Neo horror movies, of course. And a lot of people would probably tell you of the Scream knocks that this is probably their favorite one, of course, from the year 1998. Talking about Urban Legend. Yeah, Urban Legend from 1998. And then lastly, but certainly not leastly, probably mostly in this particular case, is a movie that came out in, of course, also 1999, of course, starring Devon, Sawa, the recently single Jessica Alba, Seth Green, Eldon Henson, Vivica A. Fox, so many great fun people in this movie. One of my all-time favorite Neo horror movies we'll be discussing here tonight. Idle Hands. Yes, Idle Hands from 1999. So, yeah, I'm very excited to get into these movies here tonight. It was fun to turn back the clocks, if only for a few days, on Grande's Graveyard and fire up the VHS player in the other room. It's always fun to do these type of shows. I have no trivia for this particular show. The first one was such a disaster that I will never do that shit again. So, yeah, just some movie reviews, just me talking old school 90s horror, only on the Graveyard. But let's see how y'all doing in the chat before we get into these reviews. We got Miss C in the house. Ciao, Grande and Graveyardian friends. Welcome, Miss C. Hope all is well with you. My early birthday gift, watching Grande only on the Graveyard. Thank you so much for that. That's very nice of you to say. Happy early birthday. I hope you have an awesome, awesome one. You deserve it, my friend. Hope all is well. Happy birthday, Miss C. Absolutely. Trench is in the house. Hey, what's up? We're doing frosty tonight, my friend. It is frosty outside. It is fucking chilly as hell. It's been so windy here that it's scary to fucking go take a walk somewhere. That's how windy it's been. So, yeah, no, we're staying cozy inside tonight on Grande's Graveyard. We're going to discuss these 90s films. No problem. Hope it's a good one. Awesome. We got Ghostface Brett in the house. What's up? Ghostface Brett is in the house. What's going on, Brett? Hope all's well with you. I know you're a massive Neo horror 1990s guy. It keeps blinking Brett's message. I have no idea why. I know you're a massive Neo horror guy. Of course, you got the Ghostface emblem there. Big Scream fan. And of course, Urban Legend is a huge one that was, influenced by Scream. And a lot would say Cherry Falls as well, although I do think Urban Legend is definitely more along that vein. But we'll be discussing those movies tonight, so I'm excited to have you in the house. Hey, how are you, buddy? By the way, my contract with my job expired. Hopefully I'll get another job soon. Anthony, show about this pop cultures and openings. Dude, my fingers are crossed for you. I hope you get a job ASAP, man. But if not, if you're chilling in the meantime, dude, enjoy some rad flicks. I know you got some good taste in movies. The Soulless Trenchcoat says, I think I missed the first one. What was the lineup on that? Oh, I got you. So the first one is I'm sorry, the first episode you're saying. I thought you were talking about the first movie I showed. So the lineup on the first Neo horror movie special was we did The Faculty, which is probably my favorite Neo horror movie out there. That's my favorite. We did Soul Survivors, which is a piece of shit, and we did I Know What You Did Last Summer. Those were the three we did on that one. That was a few months ago, and that show did pretty well, and I had fun doing it. It was just a fun show prep week. Like, it's a little bit different. Like, usually it's like, what's the best quality I could watch these movies in? With this particular show, it's what's the worst quality I could watch these movies in? Let's, like, make it as retro as possible, you know? So that's why I kind of like doing these. It's just a change in pace and show prep for me. Hola, Grande. Hola, Texas THC 1965. What's going on, Tex? Hope all is well with you, buddy. People wishing Missy a happy birthday. It's so cold out here, too. Yeah, well, you're a New York guy like me, so you probably know the struggle. Seeing Den of Thieves 2 tomorrow? Dude, I hope you enjoy it. Faculty is a classic. Dude, I completely agree. Faculty is such a fun movie. One of my faves. Probably my favorite neo-horror movie. But tonight, we're going to have 3 more reviews for you, and absolutely no regrets here tonight on Grande's Graveyard, only on the Graveyard. So everybody, cheers to a safe, happy, healthy weekend. The last drop of dew has been downed. We're rocking my Alucarda shirt. I can't show you that much of it because Alucarda's yits are on the shirt. So I'm not going to go too explicit there. But I figured I should have done this the last time, and I didn't. I'm going to read, instead of the brief plot synopsis from IMDb that we're all used to on Grande's Graveyard, if we're really doing a neo-horror special, if we're really buying VHSs just for the sole purpose of watching these movies in the worst quality, you know, I figure why the hell read a brief plot synopsis off IMDb when I can read them on the back of the VHS itself. So yes, we're going to read these. I don't know how good or bad these are. I've saved this for the show. I'm going in Monday Night Raw, if you will. So I hope you all join me, because the first movie we're reviewing here, of course, like I said before, it did premiere in a festival in 1999, but is mostly remembered for being released direct to TV in the year 2000 on the USA Network, to be specific. And this one has an interesting history we're going to get into right here. Of course, like I said before, starring the late, great Brittany Murphy. May she rest in peace. Of course, directed by Jeffrey Wright, written by Ken Selden. I'm talking about this little gem, in my opinion, this little fruit of a sweet, sweet flavor called Cherry Falls. Yes, Cherry Falls. Brief plot synopsis. I don't know how brief or long, but we're going to read it on the back of the VHS. Cherry Falls was a quiet town until the night a serial killer began to prey on its youth. Cherry Falls will leave you wondering if you should giggle or scream for help. In this fresh and fiendish take on the teen thriller genre, someone systematically killing off high schoolers in the sleepy town of Cherry Falls, Virginia. There's a method to the madness, though, and only one naughty way to ensure that you're not the next victim. Dark secrets, darker motivations, and the blackest humor ever to hit the teen scene run wild in this idiosyncratic send-up of horror films. A fine young cast led by Brittany Murphy, Michael Biehn, Gabriel Mann, and Jay Moore prove that it's not always the innocent who survive. Yes, Cherry Falls. While a lot of people crown Urban Legend as the movie that, like, okay, that's the best movie that's trying to be like Scream, or neo-slasher movie that isn't Scream, whatever, from that era, I respect those opinions. We'll get into that movie tonight. I have to respectfully disagree and say I do think this has got to be in conversation for one of the best, if not the best. I really enjoy Cherry Falls. I think this is a really awesome slasher movie, and it's very deep. I know that you really can't talk about this movie without talking about the backstory of the film. Of course, this was a movie that was supposed to be theatrical, right? It was a $14 million budget, and the director, of course, wanted this to be as gory and violent and sexual as humanly possible. And, of course, the MPAA shot that shit down. They said, you can't do this. This is too gory. This is too sleazy. We have to edit your version. So after all these battles with the MPAA and distributors, the USA, who owned the title, just decided, you know what, fuck it. We're going to just drop it to syndicated TV. And this premiered as a TV movie on the USA Network in, of course, the year 2000. Now, of course, this being released on a syndicated television station, you know it's going to be cut to shreds. And it is, unfortunately. This is a movie that got its balls chopped off, for a less politically correct way to say it. This movie is very cut away. It's very tame in the arts of gore. It's very tame in the arts of showing sexual sleaze. However, I still do think this is a damn good offering when it comes to, horror movies and neo-horror movies specifically. But it's funny that a movie that's $14 million, this is the most expensive TV film of all time. This most expensive made-for-TV film ever. There's not one that cost more money than this. So it does have the theatrical quality, even though it never played theatrically. So it's kind of weird. It's like, it's a Jedi Master, but it's not on the council. It's a very fucking odd situation here. But I think this one is a lot deeper than people give it credit for. Of course, this movie opens with this couple in a car. They're making out. They're talking about losing their virginities, of course. And there's a lot of sexual tension and pressure, right? The guy wants to go through with this. The girl's not so sure. And then, of course, a killer arrives, kills their asses, and we're off to the races. And, of course, this movie is in my opinion, genius. And no, you didn't hear me wrong. Genius, in my opinion, for taking tropes of a general slasher movie and turning them upside down on its head, right? What happens to the unmoral people in a Sleepaway Camp movie? What happens to the unmoral people in a Friday the 13th movie? Of course, the sleaze and slutty characters, they get picked off, right? Because they're not, good girls, for lack of a better term. In this movie, of course, turning everything on its head, it's the virgins that are being targeted at this, small town high school, of course, of Cherry Falls, Virginia. And of course, we are following our lead, played by Brittany Murphy, who, it makes me sad to watch Brittany Murphy. As good as an actress as she is, and I do think she's the best thing in this movie. I really like her performance. I think she's a very capable lead, a very good anchor to this thing. I get sad watching Brittany Murphy movies because she died too young. And I truly do believe that the Hollywood system, business, product, whatever you want to call it, it truly fucked this girl. And I believe that wholeheartedly. I mean, reading some things for show prep of stuff that was said to Brittany Murphy over the years was just truly disturbing. Like, someone said, "Oh, well, you're cute, but you're not fuckable." And she went to drastic measures to try to lose weight. In this movie, she looks healthy. She looks normal. When you fast forward down the road just a couple of years later with Just Married, where she was with Ashton Kutcher in a very lackluster comedy there, you see how much skinnier she's gotten in there. And I know, her publicist, her agent, her family, a lot of them dispute that she was on any kind of drugs to try to lose weight. I highly doubt that, unfortunately, and I don't think it was really her fault. I think she was always just so sad about her image, and even though she was a beautiful lady, I think she really heard the critics, and that's a really sad thing, man, because she had a lot of talent. I thought she was a beautiful lady. It just makes me feel sad. I don't know. I wanted to mention that because I do think she was capable, and she just gone too soon. So rest in peace, Brittany Murphy. But we follow her character, and her introduction opens up in a similar way. She's in this car with her boyfriend. They've been dating a couple years now, and he's pressuring her. Hey, when are we going to finally have sex? He's pushing her to it. And she's like, is this, good night or is this goodbye? And he says, that's up to you. I'm going to leave that in that ball in your court, and there's a lot of sexual tension here. I think this movie, what people don't give it credit for, is the horrors of sexual tension when you're in your puberty, when you're in your high school years, the pressure on not just women, but men alike, right? And we get every single perspective of that in this particular movie. And I like that element. I really do. I think that's an awesome, theme to tackle here, right? We all we know the tropes, right? This is an interesting way to kind of go about it and shake things up a little bit. And I liked that about the movie. I thought it was really interesting. There's a weird scene where Brittany Murphy's mother, she's toying with the boyfriend. It's like, is she hitting on him? What's going on? There's a scene where her father, played by Michael Biehn, yes, Kyle Reese from Terminator, and of course all the James Cameron movies that he was in. The Abyss always was my favorite performance from Michael Biehn. He's in this movie as the sheriff dad of Brittany Murphy's character, and there's a scene where he's teaching her self-defense, and he gets a little weirdly touchy-feely with his own daughter. Every scene, whether it's overt or an undertone, there's a lot of sexual tension here, whether it's family members, whether it's friends. It just seems to be oozing out of every single scene. And I thought the director did a wonderful job at that. I really liked what the director brought to the table here. As I froze here, I don't know why. Am I frozen, y'all? Oh, my screen completely fucking froze. I don't know. Oh, this is bad. What the fuck? Am I frozen? I can't even see if I'm frozen or not. That's the problem. We're gonna test it out here because I don't know. Did my Wi-Fi crash? I think my Wi-Fi crashed. What the fuck? Oh, are we back? Okay, I think we're back. I don't know what the fuck happened. I don't even know if you ever lost me. I don't. Oh, I'm good. Okay, I was like frozen in time. So sorry about that, y'all. I'm sorry. Back to the review. So before I was so rudely fucking interrupted by the Wi-Fi gods, I guess. I don't know. Okay, everybody, fucking. I'm so sorry. I didn't see the comments. They're all loading like drastically now. But yes, like I was saying, the sexual tension in this movie really oozes itself. And I thought that, again, like interesting way to go about it. We're introduced to these characters in the school and their whole idea, right? If they're killing off virgins, we've got to do some kind of big orgy party. And the idea is let's do and quote, I'm quoting this from the movie, a hymen holocaust, a pop your cherry ball, if you will. And that's the whole idea. And what the movie centers around is all these kids trying to lose their virginities at this big pop your cherry ball in order to be safe and marked, not a target for this killer. I thought that was a great idea, right? Like almost combining an American Pie idea with a horror movie. Hence, instead of American Pie, it's cherry pie, if you will, and the best kind of cherry pie. I thought that was brilliant. I was like, that is such a great idea for a slasher movie. The director, of course, like I said, he wanted this to be more bloody and more sleazy. You'll notice a lot of the kill scenes are very underwhelming because they're not really gory, they're not graphic. A lot of it's left up to your imagination. That's of course because this was released directed syndicated television, and the MPAA would not budge, and neither would the director. So they kind of came to a clash in styles, and that's why this movie is so cut away. So I know a lot of people's big gripe: where's the kill scenes? Where's the gore? I get you. But at the same time, I think they were able to say a lot with, showing a little, if that makes any sense. I thought that was a really cool thing about this particular movie. Of course, you have some interesting scenes where you're introduced to these kids in the class. And of course, their teacher is played by Jay Moore, who you see him on the cover here. He's like, hey, we had a couple students murdered last night. I want to know if anyone has anything to say about it. And basically, we go around the room, and this is how we meet these characters. And I thought they were on the nose. I thought all of these kids felt like kids I would have known in high school, right? Like I was like, okay, I knew these people. We have Michael Weston in the film, who I always remember him from a lot of TV work. Mateo might remember him as the private investigator from House. Michael Weston's in the movie as kind of a fun jokester character. So you have some good, funny side characters. I thought they all worked fairly well. And then, of course, it's kind of a mystery. Michael Biehn, the plays the sheriff. He's trying to figure out why these killings are going on. And of course, we hear the story of, a woman that was assaulted in the town 25 years ago, and she was raped by these 4 football players, and basically they all got away with it. And we're led to believe that she has come back for vengeance on the town of Cherry Falls and wants to take the innocence of, the children whose parents might have or might not have molested her. And that's the whole mystery. That's the whole idea of the movie. And there's some interesting chase scenes in this. There's a really fun one where Brittany Murphy, her buddy, he's like this kind of goth, geeky guy. He goes, I don't know if you noticed, but we're top of the hit list here. We're an endangered species. He says that to her, and they're kind of walking around the school, and he's like, can I borrow your phone? She's, yeah, sure. So he goes for a walk, and then out of nowhere, she can't find him. And then the killer has arrived and slit the guy's throat. And there's a great chase scene between he and Brittany Murphy in the school. And it's like, holy cow. The killer, I liked the look. It was like wearing like a woman's boots, like a short skirt, and then like a wig with like a silver streak. And I thought the look of the killer was pretty interesting. We can't really see the face. We could kind of make out the eyes, but especially on a VHS transfer, not really. I thought it was good. Like you were led in suspense of that mystery. And then we get some revelations and spoilers, of course. I really liked these revelations. I thought they were pretty unforeseeable for me, particularly. Of course, we find out that, the stories of the girl that was, raped all these years ago were true. But that's not necessarily who the killer is. But however, who the assailants were, one of them was the principal of the high school in Cherry Falls. The other one was Michael Biehn's character, the sheriff. And of course, the idea of the killer is I'm going to take the only innocence left of you, which is your virgin children. And of course, I'm going to enact my revenge that way. And there's the whole thing. And we find out that basically the killer is of course, Jason Moore dressed in drag. And he's the son of the woman that was raped and molested, and he of course is also the son of Michael Biehn's character, because he's one of the people that raped her. And I was like, holy shit, man, like that's holy cow. He's like, hey daddy. I was like, holy shit. I thought that was really fun. And we get this kind of fun finale in this house, right? We get this fun finale at the of course Pop Your Cherry Ball, where all these kids are having sex and talking about sex and stuff like that. And of course it is very cutaway. We don't see any yets or anything, unfortunately. But at the same time, I thought it was really smartly done, because again, what a better place to have the finale, right? Where the killer kind of shows up there and he's slicing and dicing all these kids as they're trying to have sex to lose their virginities. I thought that was fun. There's a fun like back bump off the fucking roof of the place when Brittany Murphy and he have their kind of one-on-one. I thought that was a lot of fun, man. I really liked this movie. I thought this was a lot of fun. And I thought it had a lot to say, like I was saying again, like the pressures of sexuality, the fear of course, growing into a young adult. I thought all of that stuff was really, really prevalent here. And like another scene I wanted to mention before I go to comments, there's a great scene where Brittany Murphy, and Quentin Tarantino would love this scene. I don't know if he's seen Cherry Falls, but I'd love to know Quentin's take. Brittany Murphy and her on and off again boyfriend are sitting in a room, and he's laying on the bed and she's like kind of sitting in a chair with her shoes off. And she at one point says to him, she goes, come here. And he goes to like kiss her and she's like, no, step back. And she sticks out her toes in his face. And he's like, what the hell? And she's like, suck my toes. And he's like, what? I don't want to suck your toes. And she's like, do it. And so the guy starts sucking Brittany Murphy's toes. I'm like, okay, this is fucking weird. What the fuck? And she's yelling at him, harder, suck my toes harder. And he's like, what the fuck is going on? And at the time when I first saw this movie, I was like, what the fuck? Why was that in there? As an adult now, as a 28-year-old adult now, I totally see what they're trying to say there. It's the reverse, right? Here's a horror movie that turns the whole idea and themes of tropes on its head of, okay, in most horror movies, it's the slutty girls that are the target. In this, it's the virgins. Here we have another thing. It's always usually the boys pressuring the girls into sexual acts that they want to do. In sucking, you could think of what I'm talking about. With this particular movie, I liked that scene. I was like, that's genius, because that's probably the pressure that a woman feels. It may not be toe sucking, but it's sucking. And you could see the uncomfortable look in his eyes. He's like, I don't really want to do this. Again, I thought that was so smart to put in there. There is horror in that, right? When it's not as consensual, or if it's not as, you're not as enthusiastic about the whole situation, right? That's, I guess, flipping the mirror and turning that aspect on its head. So I thought that was really, again, for a scene on flat surface, it's toe sucking, but it had meaning. It was toe sucking with meaning, God damn it. And I don't know. I thought that was like really, I was like, wow, that is really smart to put in a movie like this. Like I would not expect that from a movie like this. I thought this was really good. It's satirical. I know the writer really wanted this to be more of a comedy, whereas the director wanted to take this uber seriously. And there is some satirical stuff in it. There is some funny elements. There are some fun scenes where this one woman gets on a megaphone and is talking about how clueless guys are. I liked that. I thought that was, again, straight out of like an American Pie movie. Like, does he even know how to put it in? Like, can he just do that? And she's just like, you'll have to help him with that too. Like, I thought just all that shit was funny, man. I got a kick out of this. I thought this was really fun from top to bottom. Entertaining. Does it lack in the gore department? Yes, absolutely. Does it lack in the sleaze department for a movie about sleaze and losing your virginity and of course death scenes, creative death scenes? You may be disappointed from that standpoint. However, it makes me ponder how big of a fucking hit this might have been. This is one of the biggest what could it have been movies to me, right? This gets dumped to the USA Network in a syndicated TV premiere, where you have some real stinkers that actually got theatrical runs and made a lot of noise, right? We were talking about last episode how much noise a movie like I Know What You Did Last Summer made. I like this more than I Know What You Did Last Summer. That movie made like $125 million. imagine if this got the release with the sexual, with some flesh, with some gore, little bit more hard R, if you will, and you don't get that. You really don't. And I wonder just maybe if the director had been able to show his vision in a theater, would this have become a big hit or not? To me, it becomes one of horror's biggest what ifs because the movie kind of got lost in the shuffle. It got lost in obscurity. Nobody really talks about Cherry Falls anymore, and if you do, it's generally, I hear, usually fond memories of the movie. So this is one that it's a big what could have been. I think it's a really underrated movie. I like the cast. I like the direction. I think that the whole idea of it is just absolutely brilliant. So Cherry Falls is one that I highly recommend you all check out. As we'll go back to comments, as I caught the VHS as it fell off the fucking tip. Let me go back to comments. Where were we? Oh, man. I think we were here. The Jinja Ninja's in the house. What's going on, Jinja Ninja? Hope all is well with you. Mateo's here. Ciao, Grande. So all these movies, when they came out, neo slashers are great, even if in the bunch there are some disasters. Yes, there are some disasters. I've seen this a long time ago. Yeah, no, I would recommend you rewatch it. It's honestly a really fun movie to watch. Like, I had fun with most of the movies we'll be talking about tonight, but we'll stay tuned for the one I wasn't so big on. Ant-Man 525 is in the house. Hey, hello. What's going on, Ant-Man? I know you're a big fan of Idle Hands, which we'll be talking about here tonight. I guess Cherry Falls got its cherries chopped instead of popped. It really did. That's a great pun, and that is absolutely what happened here. I mean, it is. It's a shame because this probably, maybe, I don't know. You never know what's going to not hit, right? Like with Idle Hands, when we get there, that movie bombed in the box office. Urban Legend was a smash, and this movie didn't even get a chance. So we have three horses of different colors here tonight. We had a movie that was a hit, a movie that was a bomb, and a movie that, was in such developmental hell that it had to go straight to syndicated TV just to be seen at the end of the day. And of course, the USA Network didn't bother to preserve the NC-17 cut or director's cut or whatever cut you want to call it, the unrated cut, if you will. That'll never see the light of day, although the director believes it is still there somewhere. It's been 25 years. I don't think we're going to ever see that cut. So what you have is what you have at the end of the day. It's a shame that he didn't get to see his full vision realized, but it's also a shame that mainstream audiences didn't get to see that full version the way he wanted it. Brittany Murphy used to be such a very talented actress. One of my favorite series she was on was a comedy sitcom called Torkelsons. Slasher Fred, welcome. I completely agree. I always remember probably the first movie I saw her in was Clueless. And again, they have her playing the ugly duckling. And like, even though it was a character, I think she kind of harped on that. I think a lot of that, like, followed her in her own head, and she was beautiful just the way she was. That's what's so sad about Brittany Murphy. It's like you almost want to just give her the biggest hug in the world, especially in this movie when she's playing like the vulnerable virgin character. It's like, oh my God, like I feel so bad for her. I really, like, my sympathy, my pity, it's with her and her family. Like nobody deserved what happened to her. She really was a good talent. And I blame Hollywood. I do. I know there were bad people that she encountered in Hollywood, and primarily her late husband. That was apparently the be-all, end-all of her life, sadly. But she was a really good talent, and this movie shows it. Like, I wish she would have been in more horror movies as the lead, because she did a very capable job here. Agree with you, John. R.I.P. Brittany Murphy. Great performance in Sin City. Oh, dude, yes, I love her in Sin City. And, of course, we'll see another actress from Sin City, of course, in Jessica Alba later on tonight. Spun is also – I was a big fan. I really liked her. It was fun to go back and rewatch something she was in, because I do think she was really good. She's also good in Girl Interrupted. Totally agree with that. Mr. Dan in horror. What's going on, buddy? I'm good. Okay, sorry. Yeah, my on my end, it all fucking froze. So sorry about that. I'll skip all those for now. Let's see. I didn't know all the drama behind the scenes. Guess that's what happens. Cherry Falls felt so PG, but despite all that, I felt like it was just trying desperately to see. I don't agree with that. I think this is clearly its own thing. Like, is it in the vein of those movies? Is it a neo horror movie? Absolutely. But I think, like, we were talking about movies that totally, to me, just copied Scream. It's the next movie we're going to talk. Like, to me, this is way too similar, like, to me. But Cherry Falls, I thought, had its own voice. I thought, like, there's no sexual tension or anything that two-dimensional in a Scream movie. I was, like, very surprised at how deep this particular Cherry Falls got. That's what I liked about it. And it had some interesting visuals, even on the VHS. Like, I liked how at the end of the movie, Brittany Murphy, she's like leaving town and she has a bus passer and she thinks she sees the killer. And as the bus passes, they're gone. And then, of course, the last shot we see is this waterfall, and it goes from normal water to like this blood red color. Visually, I was like, that's such an interesting visual to end your movie on. Like, yeah, like the blood will fall if that is the killer. I thought that was really good. I don't know. I really liked that, but I respect it. Hey, everyone. Triple H in the house. Horrorhead Heather. Happy New Year, my friend. QT probably has seen that scene. Yes, he probably has it downloaded in 4K. And like, yeah, it's I mean, that's probably the most graphic sexual tension scene in the movie is that. I was like, what the fuck? As a kid, I was like, I don't get that. But now I totally get now. Like, that was a statement. That was them saying, look, when the tables are turned on you, when you're trying to pressure a woman into, oh, hey, you know, why don't we do this? You know, on the flip side, she puts him in those shoes and he doesn't like it either. I was like, that is such a smart way to do it. You're not beating me over the head with it. The first time I saw it, I didn't even realize it. But it was very smart to put in there. I thought the writer did a good job. Triple H Heather, I loved this one when I watched it 2 years ago. Definitely one of the better neo-horror films. I would agree. I would say definitely one of the better neo-horror movies. Like, without a doubt. I didn't really get – the one thing I didn't do was get into the performance of Jay Moore. Now, Jay Moore, of course, was primarily a TV actor. Of course, he was in movies like Go. I like Jay Moore. He's pretty solid. He's really good in this. Like, he's generally in comedies and things like that. But here he's able to touch like a more dramatic side. Like, by day, he's playing the button-down teacher, and he has the glasses on to make him look a little bit more sophisticated, nerdy, what have you. I don't know. But he goes around the classroom and, guys, this is terrible the way you speak about your classmates. And he'll have these interesting one-on-ones with Brittany Murphy to gain her trust. And it's like he's the only guy that she trusts. She even says that to him at a point. She's like, you're the only one I trust here. And he's like, oh, you can absolutely rely on me. He's like, hey, help me in with this. And they're holding it on to like a big trunk. And she's like, what is in this? It's heavy. And he goes, oh, it's your father. And she's like, what do you mean? And he pushes it down the steps. And sure enough, but fucking Michael Biehn, he's in there fucking tied up and gagged and shit. And she's like, oh my God, it really is my dad. I was like, holy shit, this crazy bastard. And the cross-dressing element to it, like wearing a wig going crazy. You know, it was quite a colorful performance. I'm not into toes or feet, but if it was Brittany, Ginger Ninja's like, yeah, I don't suck toes, but when I do, it's Brittany Murphy in the year 2000. She was beautiful. I'm not into that stuff either. And it's certainly, I remember when I first saw it, that was the state. I was like, what the fuck? But now it totally makes sense to me now. So it's again, through adult eyes, through an older person's eyes, I got it now. Donovan Alba's in the Heezy. What's going on? Yo, Grande, what's going on, Donovan? Hope all is well with you. Sounds like it would make a good remake or reimagining. Would love to see with more skin and gore. I agree, Triple H. It's so laughable to me what now will be passed with flying colors in an R rating, right? Terrifier was a mainstream released movie with all the gore and all the violence and graphic nature of the movie. This movie got its fucking balls chopped off, and it's all true that it's a matter of what time your movie's released, right? That's a biggest factor with this. It's all about timing. And this is a movie that it came out during the right time. It had the right idea, but it was a situation where the theaters weren't going to play this explicitly, and the MPA kind of shot them in the foot. It sucks. It really sucks. So it's just in the wrong place. This never should have fucking debuted on a made-for-TV movie, because it's way better than that. It's just, that's what they ended up doing with it, and it's unfortunate. But this movie now, holy shit, this would have been in the theater. There's no doubt. Even 5-6 years down the road, this probably would have been in the theater. 2005, 2006-ish. Granted, would the sexual stuff have been cut in the States especially? Probably. Like, I don't think you're ever going to get a big orgy party that he envisioned, right? Like, I know that the writer said, hey, there's a way around this. And they were like, well, what's your way around it? He said, why don't we put a big white sheet like the scene in Suspiria, right, where all the girls are sleeping. They have the big white sheet, and we see all these shadows. He goes, we could have them all picked off, right? They're having sex behind the sheet, and the killer comes in and picks them all off, and we just see the sheet filling up with more blood. That would have been creative to do in a way to get around the MPAA, right? Okay, you're not seeing anything. It's all implied, and we can fill in our own brains with how these people are getting kicked off as the blood increases on a sheet. That would have been interesting, but the director said, fuck you. That's fucking bullshit. Like, it's like putting I shouldn't go there, but that's what it is. It's like putting a condom on. It's like you're protecting. What the fuck are you protecting when everybody else can do their creative visions and show all the gore and sleaze and violence that they want to show? Why should I have to hold back? And I don't blame the director. I would have stood my ground too. Now, it's a shame that the stalemate ended up, this is a TV movie now. That sucks. But honestly, I would have stood my ground too. And I think even if this was 2010 and they didn't feel it was suitable for a theater, didn't think it was good enough for the theater, this could have went direct to DVD as an NC-17 or an uncut version, unrated version, or the director's cut versus the direct to DVD, whatever the fuck the studio's cut. It's a shame. It really is. This is like a big what if, what could have been. I am not a fan of I Know What You Did Last Summer. It's trying to be Scream, but not doing it correctly and falls flat. I might be trying to give it another chance, but it just doesn't work for me. I would agree. That movie's such a mixed bag for me. Like, of course, everyone knows I like Sarah Michelle Gellar, but I like the idea of the movie. I like the whole idea of, it's like the guilt and the ambition these young people have, and then it's all kind of flustered and taken away by the guilt they feel over the person they think they have killed. That stuff, that's great. It's just, I think the last act of that movie really falls apart for me. Like, the whole, it's this old fisherman and you didn't really kill him. And like, I'm like, what? Like, that shit for the birds. We got Ed in the house. Ravens Pray photo. Ed, what's going on, buddy? First movie I really saw Brittany Murphy was Drive with Mark Dacascos. Love that movie. Dude, I do too. I feel like Idle Hands was being released right around the Columbine tragedy. Yes, that is absolutely what happened. That's the case. It's sad with the whole Columbine thing, and we'll get there. We'll get there when we talk about Idle Hands. But yeah, that was and this movie too. This, like, don't exclude this movie. That was another reason they were very hesitant to release this in a movie theater, was the Columbine stuff. Columbine ended up affecting the releases of two of these movies. Now, Idle Hands, they thought about pushing it back. This one, they ended up obviously going right to the TV scene. The bus passing scene is very similar to the original Cat People. Yes, it is, and it's awesome. I really liked how that was done. In a world with movies like It Follows, this is prime for a remake. I agree with that wholeheartedly. It Follows is definitely a more realized version with the sexuality elements, right? Like, it has a lot to say and it can show a little bit more too. Like, that's the thing. I just don't understand why. Yeah, it's all about timing. There was a time when PG movies could arguably get away with certain stuff more. Exactly. Yes, I completely agree. Smash the thumbs up. Thank you so much, Mateo. And Alpha's in the house. If you're watching, you haven't hit that thumbs up button, you should be ashamed of yourself. I agree. God damn it. Alpha, welcome, my friend. Hope also with you. Smashed. Thank you so much. But that is Cherry Falls. I'm going to come in with like an 8. I think this is an 8 out of 10 or so. And I really like this. Like the soundtrack, like the performances, good direction. It is cut away, but it's not their damn fault. To me, a very interesting and well-crafted neo-horror movie for me. So I like Cherry Falls. I think this is one that's worth a watch. I do believe there is a Blu-ray. It's funny. I think Scream Factory did a Blu-ray for all 3 of these movies I'm talking about tonight. So coincidentally enough. But the next movie we're going to talk about here was easily the biggest hit of these movies. Of course, it grossed $72 million worldwide, which is nothing to scoff at. That's a lot of fucking money for a low-budget neo-horror movie. And of course, this movie came out in the year 1998. I'm talking about this little movie right here, Urban Legend. Yes, Urban Legend. Brief plot synopsis on the back of the box. When New England college student Natalie finds herself in the center of a series of sadistic murders seemingly inspired by urban legends, she resolves to find the truth about Pendleton's own legend, a 25-year-old story of a student massacre at the hands of an abnormal psych professor. As the fraternities prepare to celebrate the macabre anniversary, Natalie discovers that she is the focus of a crazed killer's intentions and the ultimate urban legend, the story of her own horrific murder. Murder! By God, I said murder! If you had asked me on Saturday what my thoughts on this movie was. I would have said I liked it a lot. That's what. But if you asked me on Saturday night, you said, Grande, what do you think of this fucking movie? I would have said I liked it. I like Urban Legend. Holy shit! Upon a rewatch, this plummeted for me. Can you do worse with the neo horror movement? Absolutely, you could do worse. Can you do better? Absolutely. I just talked about a movie that's way fucking better. Way like miles better to me. I have a lot of thoughts on this movie, so let's just get into this. The opening is the best thing in it. This is a movie that blows its load the first 5-7 minutes of the movie to me. This is the classic case of you blew your load too early. Your best scene is the opening scene, where you have a woman driving along the road and it's a dark, stormy night, and there's a point where she almost hits another car. She gets the high beam flash and she stops at a gas station. She's out of gas. Pouring rain, and who else will we see but Brad Dourif in I think a nod to the Billy Bibbit role. Of course, he had played 25 or so years earlier in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, right? Billy Bibbit. He has this stuttering condition too. He's the creepy gas station attendant. Like, you run out of gas? So that's how everything he says. And basically, this opening scene is just so tension filled. It's so like, what's going on, right? Something seems off, but you're not quite sure what. As it's pouring rain, the lead character is singing the turn around every now and then I get she's singing turn around. That song's playing on the radio and she's kind of vibing with it. And of course, what kind of culminates is he says, hey, the credit card company wants to talk to you. They're on the phone. So she gets out of the car and she basically thinks that the guy's trying to attack her. She maces him in the face. He's trying to spit it out, Junior, but he can't spit it out because he's Billy Bibbit. And of course she kind of gets back into the car. She drives off. She's crying. The song, turn around. And of course there's someone in the back seat. There's the killer in the back seat, and the walk, and she gets her head. That's fucking great. That's a hook. That's how you open a horror movie. The mediocrity that follows is maddening. It is fucking maddening. I'm sorry. It's a fucking mediocre movie at best. It really is from there on. Like, you blew your load. Like, fuck. Like, all right, the time to leave the theater. Like, that was the best this is going to get. It just plummets from there to me. I don't know. I really don't care for to me, the biggest problem is the cast. I don't like anyone, maybe other than Alicia Witt. Alicia Witt's okay as the final girl. They wanted Reese Witherspoon, I know. I don't know if that really would have made any difference. Alicia Witt's fine. Jared Leto's a fucking weirdo. I don't like Jared Leto. Fuck you. Jared Leto apparently hates this movie, too. He claims, I never made a movie called Urban Legend. He pretends it never existed. What the fuck ever. You have oh my God, what the fuck is his name? Rebecca Gayheart is in the movie. She's okay. Rebecca Gayheart's fine, especially towards the end. She gets a lot better. Michael Rosenbaum as Parker. Holy shit, he was awful. Like, that to me is the worst performance in the movie, as that guy's just trying to be Matthew Lillard. Like, the whole time, he's just so... Oh, I'm the funny guy. I'm the quirky guy. Oh my God. You like my jokes? Like, oh my God, dude, I want to shoot the fucking motherfucker. Like, he is awful in the movie. Really, really bad. Joshua Jackson, who I always remember from the Mighty Ducks. It's funny. We'll be talking about more Mighty Ducks when you get to Idle Hands. Eldon Henson's in there. Not the greatest. Just, I don't know. Like, it is what it is. He's fine, but it's nothing special. Yeah, somebody says Lex from Smallville. That's right. Michael Rosenbaum goes on to be Lex Luthor in Smallville. That's right. And he's much better in that role than he is here trying to be Matthew Lillard the whole time. It's fucking horrible. We follow these bland kids, and they're going to this college campus, and basically there's a killer on the loose and they're using urban legends to kill people. And Robert Englund is one of the professors who teaches them about urban legends, coincidentally or not. You get the whole pop rock scene. Oh, if you eat pop rocks and drink Pepsi Cola, your intestines will explode. And Joshua Jackson pretends that it killed him and everyone claps for it. It fucking nonsense. It's so stupid. I don't know. This movie just doesn't work for me on any level, really. My buddy Billy said, and I thought it was fucking funny. He goes, "This is a hot dog water movie." I was like, that is the funniest fucking way to describe a movie I've ever heard. I've never heard anybody compare a movie to a liquid, but yeah, that's a good way to put it. It is hot dog water. It's just weak. You have this death scene where fucking Joshua Jackson's trying to hit on Alicia Witt. And she's not having any of it. And he goes, "Oh, I got to go pee in the woods. I'll be right back." He gets strangled and somehow hung up on a fucking tree. And his feet are dangling, hitting the car. And that's supposed to be the urban legend of, oh, you'll hear scratching on the roof of the car. Whoa. Weak. And she drives away and it hangs him. And, oh, that's the only way you would ever say he was hung. Ha, ha, ha. The dialogue sucks, too. Like, the dialogue is terrible. And I will say, rest in peace to the writer, of course, Silvio Horta. He sadly took his own life. He also wrote Ugly Betty, which was a big show at that time, or at least I remember people liking Ugly Betty. I never watched it. So rest in peace to him. I think this is a nice attempt, but I don't really think the writing is good. I think it's actually quite a mess. Somebody mentions, Ben Grimm mentions Danielle Harris is in this as a goth girl. Danielle Harris wanted to be the lead in this fucking movie. And of course they went with Alicia Witt over her. Instead, they make Danielle Harris this goth girl who goes on goth chat forums and asks guys on campus, random goth guys, to fuck her, even though she doesn't know what they fucking look like. She's like, "What are you into?" And he's like, "Lithium." And she's like, "You're more kind of boy." Like, what the fuck? What? That does not exist. I've met horny people. I've met whores. I've met sluts. I've met abstinent women. I have never in my fucking life met a goth woman that goes on fucking goth forum chats to fuck guys that she doesn't know what they look like because they're into lithium. Lithium? That was you had me at lithium. Get the fuck out of here. Are you fucking kidding? Like, I get if you know what the guy looks like, if he has a profile, if you can see pictures of the motherfucker. She's just like, "Yo, where you at? Come to my room." Like, what? Like, there's no world where fucking that happens, man. And you can listen to as many of Danielle Harris's, like, railed out podcasts as you want to listen to. That's fucking crazy. Like, come on. That's absolutely crazy. You would not fuck somebody you don't know what the fuck they look like because they're into lithium. Like, I thought that was really weak. You have scenes where they're trying to be like Scream so much. Like, they're all sitting in the fucking lobby of the college and they're, "Oh, did you hear this urban legend?" As I was saying, I'm like, bro, what? Like, it's just so, I don't know. It's so, like, just weak. It's such a weak film. Tara Reid's also in the movie as she's trying to be the Adrienne Barbeau, the Fog character. This is Stevie Wayne. She's trying to play that character. They wanted Sarah Michelle Gellar, which Sarah Michelle Gellar thankfully said, "Fuck that. I'll go be Buffy the Vampire Slayer." That's the best decision she ever made in her fucking life, really. Tara Reid is awful in this. Tara Reid, her fucking shitty yit job. Tara Reid is fucking waste. I can't stand Tara Reid. Her fucking yelling on her death scene where the killer's going around swinging an axe at her. Ah! 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 Holy shit. It makes you want to just fucking mute the television hearing this bitch yell. And of all the people to get to be a fucking radio personality host, you got Tara Reid, who goes through you like a fucking nail. She's terrible in this movie. Her death scene was easily the worst, too. That whole fucking, oh God, it was terribly done. Are there positives? It's tough. I mean, the director, of course, Jamie Blanks, he goes on to direct Valentine, which is another fucking hot dog water movie. Even worse than this, actually. There are some things, like some, I guess, lines, some satirical moments that kind of work, that kind of get a chuckle out of you. But I would say the whole problem, I think, is the whole mystery doesn't really amount to much. Like I said in the back of the box, it's, oh, this 25 years ago, this thing happened. What's going on now? And they're investigating it and they're looking in the library through it and trying to figure out what happened. None of that ends up mattering at all, which I thought was kind of, it's like we wasted our time. Like, why were you interested in all this other shit that wasn't going to amount to anything? I don't know, man. Just weak. The kill of Michael Rosenbaum, I wanted him to die so bad. He had a laughable death scene where it was absolutely Scream. He gets a call on the phone. You want to die tonight? Whoa, oh yeah, sure, I want to die tonight. What's this one? Is this the one where the babysitter's in the house? And he goes, no, this is the one where I put your fucking. This should have been Gilbert Gottfried. No, this is the one where I put your dog in the microwave and set it for popcorn. He goes up to the fucking microwave and his dog has been microwaved to death. And then he, for some reason, goes into the bathroom and they have this bizarre editing. It's like pep, 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 like a fucking bad music video. And you get the idea that he had fucking Pop Rocks and Drano poured down his throat down a funnel. And that's how the guy dies. Oh, does Pop Rocks kill you? No. Does Pop Rocks and soda kill you? No. But Pop Rocks with a fucking Drano will kill you. Like, come on. That is so lame. I thought that was another just a lame death. You have one cop that works in this entire campus, and she's a diehard Pam Grier fan, which that character, like, had some charm, but at the same time, I don't know, like, why was she the only fucking cop on campus? Like, this is the most empty college campus you'll ever fucking see. And I don't know, man. I just thought, I was like, my God, like, what the hell? Is she the only lady that works here? Just so weird. I will say this. Maybe, just maybe, if there is a silver lining, I like the killer unveil at the end. As stupid as it is, it's entertainingly stupid. And the rest of this movie doesn't feel that way to me. You get the unveil that Rebecca Gayheart, this lady right here, she's the killer. And you're like, well, you know, why are you doing this? You're fucking crazy, blah, blah, blah. And she goes, oh, you want to know why I'm doing it? And it's very much like Scream, right? Oh, you're crazy. Oh, I prefer the term fucking, what the fuck does she say? In Scream, it's, I prefer the term psychotic. And this, I prefer the term eccentric. That's what she says. And it's just, you're just like, what? Like, that's blatant from Scream. And she's like, oh, we killed your ex-boyfriend. Ding, 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 ding. Like, that was funny. I liked Rebecca Gayheart was fucking crazy in this. Like, I liked her unveil. I thought she, like, tried her best to save it and give it like an extra oomph to it. As she pulls out a fucking PowerPoint display of how and why she's doing the killings. She's like, oh, this was my boyfriend. He was poor. We were going to get engaged. And who ran him off the road but you and your little buddy? And you get the idea that Alicia Witt and the friend, the lady from the beginning of the movie that gets killed, they were playing a prank on the guy lying there, you know, riding his ass and whipping the fucking high beams, and they accidentally ran the guy off the road and he died. And this is her vengeance plot. Now, why she would take vengeance on all these other fucking people that weren't involved, I don't know. Alicia Witt and the lady from the beginning were the people involved. You actually killed the lady responsible in the opening scene of the movie. Again, another reason you just turn it off after that happens. But I don't know. There are a lot of fans of this. I have not read the comments in depth yet. It seems like I'm alone in this. A lot of people are defending the movie. That's awesome. People like this a lot. I just am not there. I used to. When I first saw it, I was like, harmless, fun. It was good. I don't know if I could say that now. I just don't see that anymore. I don't. Maybe it's just with age. It's funny with age. You know, this one got way better, and with age, this one I thought got way worse. Like I just don't really care for this. All the urban legends they bring up. It's just like when you get your fucking kidneys cut out and you wake up in a bathtub around yourself with fucking ice. And the fucking Pam Grier cop shoots the lady. And then I will say that I couldn't believe this. I forgot this happens. The fucking Pam Grier lady gets shot and she goes down. She gets stabbed, actually. She's bleeding profusely. Then fucking Rebecca Gayheart starts pointing the gun at the both of them. And she's like, hey, Jared Leto, we would have been so fucking hot together. And she's like, I hate that you're doing this. And then the fucking Pam Grier cop shoots Rebecca Gayheart. And then Rebecca Gayheart shot and takes a bump out the window. And they leave the fucking cop there. Like, oh, thank you for saving our life. By the way, we're not going to wait for paramedics to come. We're going to just let you sit here and fucking bleed out. I was like, what a bunch of assholes Alicia Witt and fucking Jared Leto were. What a bunch of assholes. Like, and then, of course, they're in the car and the killer's in the car. Oh, fucking weak. And then I will say the final thing I thought was really smart, where they're in the lobby again. It's a new group of kids. It's you get the idea time has passed, and they're telling the urban legend story of this movie. And of course, someone says, doesn't anyone believe me? And Rebecca Gayheart, with like a new look, new hairstyle, she kind of leans up and goes, "This is how the story really goes." I thought that was really smart. I was like, damn, like you started and bookended with smart, really good things. And in the middle was just a bunch of nonsense with some horrible actors. And I know people say the film looks good, it has a great direction. I don't see that. I mean, a couple of interesting shots, like the shot through the microwave once they find the fucking dead dog. That was an interesting shot. But the rest of this movie is just fucking weak to me. I don't know. It's not boring. It's not tedious. It's not the worst of the, like, is it better than Bleed? Absolutely. Is it better than The Greenskeeper? Absolutely. Is it better? Like, there are a lot of movies that it's better than. Is it better than Ripper? Is it better? Like, I could name 100 neo horror movies that it's better than, but I don't really like the film itself. It's fallen off a cliff for me. I also, with that being said, remember liking Urban Legend 2 a lot. I am scared to fucking ever rewatch Urban Legend 2. And now that I've rewatched Urban Legend 1, because upon a rewatch, it plummeted for me. Like, I was eye-opened at how much I didn't like it this time. So, weak movie in my opinion. But let's get the comments. I see the comment section is going crazy. I'm sorry if I've offended anyone, but let me fucking see what we all have to say here. Tell me why I'm crazy. I don't give a shit. Where the fuck were we? Holy moly. This is insane. I think we were here. Oh, no, don't slam my urban legend, but of course he will. Rusty, I'm so sorry. I put over Cherry Falls. I will put over Idle Hands. This one is just not it, man. Urban legend. I would even say I Know What You Did Last Summer is better. I would actually say that, just from the psychology standpoint. Like, what did this really have to say? It's so fucking one-dimensional. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's just had nothing, no oomph, no fucking, nothing. Urban Legend came out a year after Wishmaster. I like Wishmaster. Always the Urban Legend was shit. Yeah, I kind of agree with you. Other than that opening scene, which I'm like, wow, wish this was in a better movie. Like, it's the perfect opening to a movie. Yeah, some of the acting hasn't aged well. It really hasn't. I like Scream. I still like Jamie Kennedy. I still like Matthew Lillard. I still like Rose McGowan, Nev Campbell. All of them. This, it's like, and it's funny because a lot of these people were in Scream 2. Like, Joshua Jackson's in Scream 2 in a brief role. So is fucking Rebecca Gayheart. It's almost like they were like, let's take a couple of actors from Scream and plug them into our movie, right? Like, we'll give them a bigger roles. That's what it almost seemed like they were doing. Both movies have actors who have played horror villains. That's right. And of course, this director, funny enough, he originally wanted to do I Know What You Did Last Summer. And because I think they were like a day away from shooting, and they were like, we would have given you that job. Like, we're not sure about Craig Gillespie, which they had a right to not be sure about him. That's the job he wanted, and he was given this as like a secondary job. And I know that the movies remember fondly, so maybe that was a good thing that happened, But in an alternate world, Craig Gillespie or is it Craig Gillespie, Jim Gillespie? I forget the fucking guy's name, but the jabroni that directed I Know What You Did Last Summer, I think it's Jim Gillespie. He, could have been the one directing this in an alternate world. Not a fan of the final girl, Natalie. She's kind of vanilla. Like, she's not ugly, and I'll be honest, she's done better in other movies. Like, I loved her in Long Legs. I thought she was the best thing in Long Legs. I thought she was great in it. But here, fuck. I used to not like Urban Legend. I think it was also trying too badly to be Scream, but rewatched a few years ago, and the reveal and the performance of the killers. I agree. That's the saving grace, is Rebecca Gayheart, because she's fucking fun in that reveal. She's so over the top. You need to get therapy. I tried that. Doesn't look like it worked very fucking good. Like, I thought, like, she was so hamming it up that I was like, finally something I could just fucking be like, okay, like bravo, golf clap. I liked how into it she got. She's like, fuck this, I thought she was fun. Urban Legend is my fave of these neo slashers. That's fair enough. Ben Grimm, welcome to the house, my friend. I'm just not there. Like, if you're talking neo horror, not neo slashers, but I'm talking neo horror in general, I'm taking Scream over this. I'm taking Idle Hands over this. I'm taking Cherry Falls over this. I would take I Know What You Did Last Summer over this. I would take The Faculty over this. Like, there's so many movies that I think are just way better than this. But I don't know. It definitely seems to have a big fucking cult following. So that's really cool. Hey, it stood the test of time in the eyes of most people. The movie Nightmares has the gas station urban legend. That's right. And so does oh my God, the John Carpenter one, Body Bags. Body Bags has it as well. That's a great fucking story. That's probably the best story in Body Bags. Grande, you have an excellent pitch there. What was that with my turn around every now and then? And you have some fun songs in this. You have the Dawson's Creek song. I don't want to wait for our lives to be over, which is, I thought that was funny and satirical. Great idea for a movie. Had me guessing the killer the whole time. Really? So yeah, I mean, I think that's my issue. I don't know if I think it was like, I am a sucker for urban legends, right? I like the short movie I made was about an urban legend, was about this girl that went missing by the bay. And now, this woman in yellow and Mystery and, let's go down and check it out. Or maybe we won't come back alive. Like, I like urban legends. I don't think it makes sense to do, we'll have all of these urban legends and all of the kills are, revolve. I just think it's a little bit of a mess. Like, whereas Cherry Falls, it's like, yeah, well, instead of the fucking sluts, we'll kill the virgins, but it had a lot to say about sexuality and the fears of coming of age. And like, I think it was way smarter. Whereas this, it's just like, oh, did you hear the one about this? Did you hear the one about that? I was like, I don't know. Like, oh, did you hear about the one of turning the lights on and off? Like, did you hear the one about the goth chick that fucking went into the fucking goth chat and fucking hooked up with a random guy because he's into lithium? Like, come on. Like, what the fuck urban legend was that? Urban legend is based on North American urban legends. When it came out in Italy, people were like, what are they talking about? Is that really true? That's amazing. Hey, this fucking urban legend is full of shit. It's a bunch of shit. It's really like, okay, maybe I was a little hard on the movie. I might be. Sometimes I'm too hard on movies. If you can turn your brain off, if you really turn it off, like I'm saying, don't think about a thing. Don't think about, why is there one cop on this campus? Why is the killer wearing a fucking fur coat like the killer in ATM with this fucking fur popping out of it when it's the middle of the fucking summer? Why do like 4 different people in this movie own the same fucking coat of the killer when it's the middle of the fucking summer? Why is there even a fur coat around? I mean, shit, I will say this is better than ATM, right? It is better than that. But if you can turn your brain off and really not think about it, I can see how somebody say, I had fun time at the movies with it. I really could. That part I see, and I think that's why it was a hit. I don't think this is a harmful movie. It's harmless. But I do think the reason this was such a big hit was because, again, it played into that kind of scope of what was coming around the pike at that time, and it hit the nerve, right? I think that was what made it a big hit. I do look into my backseat every time before I get in my car because of the movie, though. It made an impression of me. Well, hey, then it did its job, right? Don't talk about Skeletor like that. Oh, geez. Lex from Smallville. Yeah, he's good at Smallville. He's a cool guy in real life. Like, I've seen him do a lot of interviews. He seems like a fun guy. And this, I feel like the director just must have told him, be Matthew Lillard. And he is absolutely awful in this movie. Like, it's like, I was like rubbing my eyes. I was like, I can't even believe how bad he is. But how our perspectives make us see different things where films are concerned. Well, we agree on some things, right? If you ever watch the sequel, Brenda Bates makes a cameo. That's right. Her name's Brenda Bates, which has to be a nod to the good old Norman Pacey. Joshua Jackson's reaction when the Dawson Creek song comes on the radio. Scratch Burno. That's got to be a first-time name, Grande's Graveyard. Welcome, Scratch. Grande, you're ripping out my heart. Sorry, Urban Legend is my favorite neo-horror. Really? Really? Man, we have 2 people that said this is the best neo-horror movie. Man, I'm shocked. I'm shocked. I can see saying it's your favorite Scream ripoff, but I can't see you saying best neo horror movie. That is fucking eye-opening. So better than The Faculty, better than Scream, better than fucking Idle Hand, better than all the movies I mentioned before that I think are better than it. That's shocking, man. That's interesting. I'm curious. Does anyone else feel that way? The cop lady, yes, the cop lady is endearing in a way. She's just like, not on my campus, and every quote she has is Pam Grier, which I thought that was funny. That was fine. That she didn't bother me. She was the least of this movie's problem. I just had a lot of fun with this on a rewatch. The kills are fun. I wish they played more into the urban legend a tad bit more, but I enjoyed it for what it was. I really enjoyed the security guard. Yeah, exactly. I think that's a lot of people just enjoy this for what it is. And maybe I did too with first watch. I don't know. This time though, I was just like, wow, I remember that first thing I said when it ended. I went, I remember that being a lot better than it was. Like that was an eye-opening experience. It really was. Danielle Harris is the goth girl, hot goth girl. Gotta love Danielle Harris if you smell what The Rock is cooking. But Rebecca Gayheart makes this movie for me. She's so fun as the killer at the end. I agree. I really agree with that. Like it borders on parody. Like that's how over the top she goes. But it is the most entertaining scene in the whole movie. Like she is fucking electric in it. And she has these great like cat eyes. Like she looks like a cat to me. Rebecca Gayheart. It's funny. She actually was at the Chicago convention. I saw her. She still looks great. So yeah, no, shout out to her. I thought she did a good job. She was good. That happened at the time. Oh, the lithium. Are you talking about the lithium chats? There was a documentary series about urban legends that was hosted by Natasha Henstridge. Ooh, Sil herself. We're gonna have to tell Mearns. We're gonna have to tell Mearns she's in tight black leather, but she's gonna sit in a room the whole time, like it's Species 2. Aren't you glad you didn't turn out the light? Written in blood. That's like dating apps nowadays, at least over here. Okay. Dating app is different though. A dating app, I could see pictures of the person and then decide if you like or dislike or whatever. To me, the idea of she didn't see this fucking guy, that's crazy. I don't know of anyone that would do that. Not even the thirstiest person. I agree, Ben, it was the times. Okay, maybe I'm just naive and young and I wasn't there, so maybe I'm wrong. You almost met them all, John. Did I really? What are you talking about? I don't even know who you're talking about. Girls will go to dude's house to get smoked out now. Yes, but not without knowing what they look like. Am I wrong? Is that a fact? Do people fucking go to people's houses? You don't know who they fucking look like or what they look like. What if he was a 400-pound goth guy that fucking came out and looked like a fucking Puerto Rican hua, as fucking Phil Leotardo would say? Would that be a fucking like what? Like there's ego. No way. No. If you know what the person looks like, absolutely. That's what Tinder was invented for. But not if you don't know what the motherfucker looks like. I can't see that. I've never. I don't know anybody who has ever, but maybe I'm wrong. My bad. But real quick, since it was brought up, what's your thoughts on Smallville? I like Smallville a lot. I always thought the lead guy did a really good job as Clark Kent. Like I thought he was really good. And of course he was in some other small movies. Like I remember he was the son in Cheaper by the Dozen. I liked Smallville from what I saw of it. I know they found ways to integrate Chris Reeve in there. I know the crazy bitch from Honey We Shrunk Ourselves was one of the, oh my God, that lady's fucking nuts. If you ever want to read about a crazy motherfucker, read about that lady. He's never been on Tinder, Grindr, then he had, dude. I'm not gonna go there. People might met sight unseen back. Really? Are you fucking serious? Okay, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I just, to me, meet somebody you don't know what the fuck they look like. That's insane. Because what if you show up and they're fucking bigger than Snuffy? Like what? Ginger has a point. Dating apps of today are in the same league, unfortunately. Yeah, but then what dating app do you not see the person? Like what one? Maybe was Nirvana's song Lithium she was into? Yeah, maybe it was. I don't know though. Were goth people hardcore into Nirvana? Nothing in the way. Yo, Solus. LOL, my thoughts exactly. I think she was talking about the song. Really? I thought she was talking about fucking drugs because she was taking I thought she was taking lithium pills. I thought that was the case. I'm pretty sure that's why she has pills of lithium. And that's why she's saying, are you into lithium? Like, let's do lithium together. This movie came out the same year as Dawson's Creek. That's right. OMG, did he slam Valentine? Valentine sucks. Come on. Are you a fucking crazy? Valentine's a classic? Oh, Jesus. That's got to be bottom 10 neo slasher movies. That's a horrible movie. Really? Holy shit, this is getting fun, man. I'm excited. This is John Grande versus the fucking world right here. This is John Grande's infinite playlist featuring lithium. It's so fun. I adore it. Really. Yes, Gilbert Gottfried should have been. Dude, Gilbert Gottfried could have saved this movie. Imagine at the end it was Rebecca Gayheart and Gilbert Gottfried, right? Like, me and Gilbert were going to be so fucking hot together. Yeah, bitch. That would have been amazing. Was it Gilbert Gottfried? Yes. Now I'm just imagining Gottfried as the ghost. Imagine that. Imagine at the beginning of Scream, it wasn't fucking Roger Jackson. It was fucking Gilbert Gottfried. What's your favorite scary movie? That would have been great. I liked the cop/security guard. She had charm. She did have, I agree. She had charm. Gilbert Gottfried's ghost coming back for Scream 7 would be legendary. Gilbert Gottfried's ghost coming back for anything would be fucking awesome. She's a real killer too. What do you mean? Okay, chat, we should start throwing tomatoes. Yeah, bring your tomatoes. I don't care. I'll dodge them. I'll dodge your tomatoes. I'll join y'all even though I haven't seen the film. Anthony, you're going to throw tomatoes at me? You haven't even seen the fucking movie? What the hell, man? Let's throw hot dogs, buddy. I got hot dog water. I'm going to catch him. I'm going to catch him with this fucking VHS slip, and I'll make us some good hot dogs. Who are you guys, ketchup, mustard people? I don't know. Relish? I like chili cheese. I used to be in your shoes, Grande, so I get where you're coming from. It's like, you're exactly right. We switched places for sure. I swear to you, if you asked me Saturday, I would have been like, yeah, I remember liking this, this, and this. And then when I rewatched it, I was like, wow, this is going to be sad because I hated this upon a well, I didn't hate it, but it's weak. Throw tomatoes, yeah. And Valentine is going to make me do the Siskel and Ebert double bird finger. I get 2 middle fingers up. Urban 2 was good. 3. I remember really liking Urban Legend 2, but I really don't ever want to rewatch it. Maybe for the Neo Horror Special number 3, we'll rewatch Urban Legend 2, and I don't know. I hope it doesn't age like Urban Legend 1. I like the spider scene in 3. Bloody Mary. We do get a scene of that in this where they're Bloody Mary. But they don't go anywhere with it. Whereas part 3, that's called Urban Legend, Bloody Mary. Okay, hot dogs and tomatoes. Fair enough. 3 was directed by Pet Sematary director and written by Michael Daughtry. Still shit. Well, yeah, that's unfortunate. He still needs to change the name to Grande's Graveyard full of Rusty's favorite films. Yo, Rusty, I feel so bad. I remember, I think it was the last Neo special where I reviewed Soul Survivors, and Rusty was like, I think you throw out half of my collection. I was like, Rusty, I would never. I can appreciate how this film mimicked the Scream formula slasher with a mystery killer. Evil Connor says. Evil Connor, welcome. I mean, I can appreciate it too, but I don't know. Like, to me, like, I feel like there's so many better options. Like, I don't know. Bleed. I do, unfortunately, fucking know Bleed. Hey, Mrs. C, that would be like the Muppet Babies, whatever, somebody tells a bad joke. Oh my gosh. Bro, my friend and I rented Bleed when we were about 10 years old because we loved Scream. Well, they got you. See, the cover alone. If anyone's seen Bleed, you know the cover I'm talking about. There's literally, like, you could get into, I think there's got to be over 50 movies that tried to be like Scream, like, at that time. It's like not even over exaggerating the number. It's crazy. Bleed is a lot worse than this one. Like, Urban Legend looks like an Oscar winner next to Bleed. And Bleed replicates the Scream formula well, too. I'm waiting to see Rusty be like, Bleed is one of my favorite films. I'm waiting to see that. The ending reveal really is the best part. Ding, 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 ding. I thought that was funny, too. I popped for that. I was like, what a crazy fucking bitch. Does anyone know other mystery slashers I should see? Oh, dude, I just talked about one before you came in the house. Cherry Falls. This beats the shit out of Bleed. Not Urban is more fun than Summer. It's more fun, but I think Summer's overall better. I would take Summer barely. It's close, but I think Summer had a little bit more to fucking say. Yeah, the reveal of the killer is a solid successor to Billy and Stu and Scream. Yeah, even the lines, like the whole, I prefer the term this instead of that. I was like, bro, that's fucking blatant in terms of her performance. I thought she dialed it up higher than them. Like, they're fun. And then she even asks, like, why? And in Scream, it's why? And then this, why? I'm a visual aid, What film are we talking about? Sorry, Dominic St. Clair. I don't know when you came in the house, but we were talking about Urban Legend. Yes, Urban Legend. Oh, Scream is better. I guess I meant post-Scream slashers. Okay. That makes. I was gonna say, wow, that is a shocking. That's a shocker. I will take Faculty over Urban Legend. Me too. I don't even not even in the same fucking ballpark to me. Talk about urban legends. Grande's got pipes. Hell yeah, I do. People saying hi to one another. The fucking Fur Coat Guild. What the fuck? In the middle of the summer. But I will say, in a terrible. Had anyone seen? You want to talk about bad horror movies? And I'm so sorry in advance. ATM is one of the biggest pieces of shit of all time, and that has the killer in the fur coat. It's a New Year's Eve horror movie, so it's probably right around the right time to watch it. Poor Josh Peck. That's all I'll say. But Cherry Falls was so slashed up and edited down, it might as well have been PG-13 considering the subject matter. That was lame. But I still love it. See what I said, Rusty? We still could agree on movies. The fur coat is there because it's setting up was supposed to be. That's right. I read that too. It was supposed to be a winter setting, but it wasn't. So I don't know. Why couldn't they have called an audible on that, right? Like, okay, if it's going to be taking this, okay, let's do a mask. Let's do, anything, just something different. But I don't know. The fucking coat thing I thought was kind of weird. You think you're too harsh sometimes, Grande? You're way too harsh at times. Fair enough. It was made for TV. That's why it's like that. I remember it aired first Halloween I ever stayed home. Really cool. Same. I feel Urban Legends is a closest replica of Scream, even more so than I Know What You Did Last Summer, even though that's the same writer. To clarify, it's my favorite of the neo horror movies I have seen. Well, no, that's fair. You can be your favorite. I'm not trying to discourage anyone. I just that shocked me. That's all. I'm not saying anything about it. Yeah, 100% some people do that. It's nuts. That's fucking nuts. I can't believe that is fucking insane. In the U.S., yes, we meet strangers. You Canadians are so smart and wholesome. I'm not Canadian, but yeah, I appreciate that. I remember meeting a girl who was visiting my college campus, sight unseen from a college forum. It worked out well for the both of us. So fair enough. Okay, well, I feel like I could see it going horribly wrong in some cases. I'm glad it went good for you, but I would think in a majority of cases that would go horribly wrong. I don't know. Maybe I am wrong. I don't know. Close Rusty. I love the first Scream. The rest of the Screams, you can flush them down the toilet. She would have known it as a girl. Plus, I'm not sure she could have overpowered Danielle in the way that she did, but I still like the movie. Dude, speaking of like how the fuck did she get Joshua Jackson all the way hung up on a tree? Like, this lady's 97 pounds, soaking wet with 2 bricks in her fucking poppy and her fucking hair wet. And she pulled up Joshua Jackson. What kind of gains did this bitch have? She led them in the dark. You never heard of. I've heard of catfish. Again, catfish involves seeing the fucking person. It's one thing if you got, oh my God, you said this was you and it wasn't you. There's a picture involved. There's no fucking lithium. That's all I have to say. That's all I got to say. Lithium. That's it. I could tell you a funny story about my friend that went to hook up with a dude at his place. Then her hookup from the other night rocked up. They were roommates. True story. All right. Well, Australia seems like a fun place to live. Grande, you got heat, brother. Dude, I'm fine. I'm fine with getting heat on my own show. Imagine I turn heel on my own show. Like, everybody stops watching my show. Hello and thanks. Acres of movies in the house. What's Valentine? Valentine was the director of This's follow-up a few years later. It has like Denise Richards, Katherine Heigl. It's a fucking piece of shit. It's a movie that has the equivalent of a CW11 movie. It is fucking horrible. Don't watch it. It's so bad. Granted, people like it. Gayheart really killed someone in a drunk truck. Really? Holy shit, I didn't know that. That's fucking crazy. John Grande versus the World, the far superior version of Scott Pilgrim. Yes, I just need to dye my hair blue. Hello to the handsome and charming host. Thank you so much. Valentine was an early 2000s film with a great-looking cast at Evil Connor. Favorite scene in The Faculty. I love the promo at the end from oh my God, the blonde girl. I can't think of her fucking name. The promo she gives, my world, my whole new world, all this stuff. She's great. Like, I love that promo. That's Kevin Williamson 101. Like, the whole psychology is why I'm taking over your school and how like Earth life compared to the outer space life. I thought that was brilliant. I love that. That monologue's the best thing in The Faculty. Dude, I didn't know that. In 01, so it was a couple years later. Holy shit, I never knew that. That is fucked up, man. Valentine, it's fun. It's more of Valentine slasher than My Bloody Valentine, just saying. Merns is in the house. What's up, Graveyard? Was out with a buddy. I wanted to drop in and say, hey, Mernsy, welcome, man. Hope all's well. Which is the main ingredient. I'm not looking at slasher films for the next Citizen Kane. I'm just here for the blood and cute guys. So fair enough. Bro, I can't believe I missed the Soul Survivors app. LOL. I did. You could go back. I made it a playlist of neo horror movies. Favorite Valentine kill? I don't remember. I hated that movie. I remember that. In your opinion, what's the best Scream ripoff? Gun to my head, this is the best Scream ripoff. That's the right here, in my opinion. I would go with this. Unless is the Faculty a Scream ripoff, because it's also has like Kevin Williamson writing, all its characters are talking like that kind of character. It's not a slasher movie, but it's a people are getting taken over and killed kind of. So if that's the case, best Scream ripoff, probably the Faculty. Probably the Faculty. Yeah, I'm going to go with the Faculty. But I know some people would argue if that's a Scream ripoff. I would say that. If you're saying it has to be a slasher movie, it would be this one. I would pick this one. Sub Trench, did you guys get the Idle Hands yet? We're getting there. Once I get to the comments through, we'll get the Idle Hands. Either the Hot Tub Electric Kill or Arrows in the Trash. There's a slasher movie called Cut about people on a horror movie set from 2000. I've seen that as well. I don't remember the movie. No, not yet. We're still going over. Yeah, well, this was I caused a war. I'm sorry. Bleed is all right. It's got suddenly gorgeous cast, which is a good distraction. that's Rusty's way of saying it sucks, but there were good-looking people in the movie. That's the paraphrase. Scream is like the Home Alone of slasher films. After that movie came out, it seemed exactly, and that was smart, right? I mean, this movie, Urban Legend, made $72 million. I don't think this movie would make $20 million if it came out today. It was the time, and it struck the iron when it was hot, man. And it got people excited to go to the movies. Yes, it was. That's one we could cover on a neo horror special down the road for sure. These seem to be we got a lively chat. I'll say that much. I do love Cherry Falls. Okay, Urban Legend is amazing. I am really sorry. I don't know if I've ever had a more controversial, like, I put movies like Funny Girl down. I put The Substance down. It seems like I fucking shit on Urban Legend and everybody and their fucking grandmother came to this chat to tell me to go fucking take some lithium. Mernsy, you might want to throw Grande a life jacket. Yeah, I'm drowning here. It's a 1998 Giallo. Oh, Jesus. You know North American urban legend of the blade and apple in Italy is a pizza. Me, now just messing with you. I appreciate you, man. Final Destination rankings would be the second movie and the first movie by a mile the best. Then you have a huge gap, probably the third movie. And then the last two, the fifth movie I'm not a big on, and the fourth movie. The fifth movie has a good ending. That's it. And the fourth movie is a fucking abomination. She has that M. Bison psycho energy. Oh, geez. I think I go 3, 1, and 2 tied, 4, then 5. All great. Fair enough. They met the dates blindfolded in 90s. Yeah. In the 1990s, you didn't have to know what the person looked like, motherfucker. You just fucking went for it. That's how your cherry fall. Mersey, shame on you to call it a Giallo. Might be I just assumed / made up that you were Canadian. That's fine. I will take that compliment. I don't even care. I'm flattered. Or just get the nice remastered collector's edition Blu-ray. Is there a collector's edition? Oh, okay, a Valentine. I thought you were going to say there was a collector's Blu-ray of Bleed. I was going to say you're on crack. Valentine's amazing. It's another 2000s Giallo. Dude, you're going to kill. Mateo's going to have a palpitation. Or he's going to come over in Toronto and you're going to have to fight each other. Shocked at your Valentine micro review. I'd like to know the issues, but maybe not. I love the movie, so agree to disagree politely. Please to disagree also, dude. That's totally fine. Yes, idle hands. We'll all hold idle hands together as I'm trying to get through this fucking Scratchman. What? Your favorite is Sleepy Hollow High? What? I don't know what you're talking about. In 1997, George Romero calls you. He says Resident Evil producers have offered him to direct. What do you say to Mr. Romero? I say to Mr. Romero, get the fuck out of Dodge, because that's not you. That's not your voice. That's not what your strength is. Make what you want to make. And eventually he made Bruiser, and I really like Bruiser. Everybody loves Idle Hands. I love Idle Hands too. I didn't think this would get that strong of a response. Not everybody, but to gag on this film. Oh God. If you had lithium, you'd be too busy with goth chicks. That's amazing. Bleed feels like a Skinamax. So more poor Jesus. Thanks for the rankings, comments, fun live stream. Thank you. All right. Sorry, that is one of the longest comment sections I think we've ever had on Grande's Graveyard. So I got through them all. And the long story short, this is just not it, in my opinion. I'm going to give it the Bret Hart rating. It's a 4 out of 10. Great opening. I give you 2 points for the opening off alone. I love that opening. I give you a point for Rebecca Gayhart's craziness at the end. Fucking, where's the fourth point? I don't even know. I just pulled the fourth point out of my asshole. It's not violent. It's the director. I don't want to show violence, even though you were allowed to. This motherfucker wanted to show fucking orgies and violence and gore, and you had the opportunity to do it and hit the brakes. Fuck you. I changed my mind. It's a 3 out of 10 because I can't find the other fourth fucking point. Let's move on. Let's move on to bigger and better things. Let's move on to the following year of the year 1999, where, of course, we got one of my absolute all-time favorite neo-horror movies. It's definitely my top 5, might be my top 3, I don't know, but I love this movie. I think this is a movie with a great heart, and I've always called this movie heartfelt horror. And I know that we've come to disagreements on urban legend, respectively. Of course, I respect all your thoughts, and I appreciate the arguments people gave. But it's time to hold idle hands with me. It's time to talk about this little movie, of course, from the year 1999. Idle Hands. Yes, Idle Hands. Brief plot synopsis on the back of the box. Let's see. Anton Tobias is a channel surfing, junk food munching, couch potato burnout who can't control the murderous impulses of his recently possessed hand. With the help of his zombified buddies, played by Seth Green and Eldon Henson respectively, Anton's got to stop the rampaging devil appendage before it takes total control of his life and ruins any chance he has with the class hottie and recently divorced and single Jessica Alba, played by Jessica Alba Molly. Vivica A. Fox and Jake Noseworthy co-star in the wickedly funny horror comedy Idle Hands. I love Idle Hands. Heartfelt horror at its best. I love the humor in this movie. I love mainly an interview that Seth Green did for this movie. And Seth Green, of course, is one of the movies in the movie. One of the actors in the movie, sorry. Too much urban legend arguing for me. He said it best. Everybody that was making this movie was trying to make a different movie than what actually we got. And he's so right about that. The director was trying to go for Argento, of course, his name, Rodman Fletcher, who he had directed Leprechaun 2 before this. He would go on to direct a lot of TV stuff, but Rodman Fletcher directs this. He had also directed some Tales from the Crypt episode, which we'll be talking about next week, season 6. He did direct an episode, so it will be another week of Grande's River talking about some Rodman Fletcher stuff. Of course, he directs this. He wanted to go for an Argento feel. So a lot of the lights, you see a lot of neon lighting, a lot of greens, a lot of reds that really pop out. Of course, the writer was trying to make a movie like Heathers. That was his goal. That's what he said in an interview. He was like, that's the movie I was trying to make. And of course, we kind of had a styles clash, me and the director. Of course, and then everybody else kind of feels like they're in American Pie or fucking Dazed and Confused or Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Like, it feels very like 80s, 90s high school teen movie. And that's what I really like about it. That's what I really enjoy about this movie, is that everybody seemed to be making something different, yet it all kind of comes together perfectly. It should be a mess. It should be a piece of shit. It should be horrible, but it somehow works. And I think the biggest reason it does is the performance of Devon Sawa. Devon Sawa plays the lead Anton in this, and he's this lazy, like they said, couch potato, munching. He's watching Night of the Living Dead on TV and Dawn of the Dead at one point. He's just this lazy guy, can't be bothered with doing anything, can't be bothered to leave his house or go to school or anything. He's this kind of, loner stoner guy. He does have these two buddies, of course, played by Seth Green and Eldon Henson. Seth Green, of course, from Austin Powers fame and Family Guy and Robot Chicken. Eldon Henson, who, of course, was in the Mighty Ducks, right? He was Fulton Reed, the 1 out of 5, right? Love Eldon Henson in this. He's awesome as his two stoner buddies. And, of course, they're all gaga about the girl across the street. And, of course, it's played by Jessica Alba, who, as of yesterday, as of rewatching this for show prep, is single. So you're saying there's a chance. But in all seriousness, Jessica Alba is one of the most beautiful women in the history of women, I would say. And it's no exception here. I mean, she's gorgeous. She's fun as the kind of high school hottie, the whatever damsel in distress by the end of the movie. And they're trying to, Devon Sawa really wants to be with her. He likes her. And then slowly but surely you find out that Devon Sawa's hand, because he's such a lazy fuck, has become possessed. and his hand has like a mind of its own. And a lot of this movie rests on the physicality and physical performance of Devon Sawa. And he does a great job in this movie, making this hand feel like it truly is thinking on its own. It has a mind of its own. And it's so fun to see him go back and forth and throw his body and do somersaults and things like that. And I always like to think of it in a way of like an homage to Evil Dead 2 and Bruce Campbell, or an homage to Jim Carrey and Liar Liar, like Mernsey was telling me last night. He felt the goddamn pen is blue, that stuff. What if we did that and made that the whole fucking movie? What if we made that the whole fucking show? And that's what Idle Hands really is. He finds his parents are dead, and there's this funny scene where the two friends, they come over and, oh my God, and they run into the house, and you think they're going to react to the dead bodies. I love this music video. Shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it. I thought that was fucking hysterical. And then he's like, what are you guys doing? My parents are dead on the floor. And Eldon Henson, all right, hold on. I know CPR. And he starts like beating the fucking guy's chest. And he's like, that's my dad. What are you doing? He goes, that's CPR. I learned it on Baywatch. That was fucking hysterical, that line. They have the great line too, like, don't you watch the news? There's a serial killer out there. He goes, I hate that fucking show. Like that was a great line too. And of course, he inadvertently with his hand murders his friends, right? He bashes Seth Green's head in with a bottle. He stabs him with the bottle. And Eldon Henson, he throws this kind of saw blade and it cuts his head off. And the effects are really not that bad, unless on a VHS they don't look that bad. I don't know if they've aged well on Blu-ray. I don't own the Blu-ray. But I thought the effects for the most part were good. And you get the idea that he buries them and you're like, oh man, like what a shame. I was hoping they were going to be in the movie more. And they come back from the dead because they're such lazy fucks. They have this line. He goes, well, what happened? What happened after I killed you? And they go, well, we saw this white light, but it was really far away. So because they're so lazy and wouldn't walk to heaven, they come back as zombies. And Seth Green and Eldon Henson, hijinks ensue, right? They have these fun scenes together where it's, look at me, I'm Leatherface. Fucking funny, man. I thought they were great. Like the Abbott and Costello type of comedic duo there. I thought they were so fun together. I just loved their chemistry in it. They were the perfect best buddies. Devon Sawa, of course, goes over to Jessica Alba's house. And if you look closely, if you're watching closely, you'll recognize the neighborhood. It's Pasadena, California, where a little movie called Halloween, the original Halloween, John Carpenter's Halloween, was shot in the same city, same neighborhood. If you look closely, it is absolutely like you could tell this is where Laurie Strode walked to go to school, right? Like it's the same exact neighborhood. So, and it hadn't really changed much, right? It had been 21 years, right? And Halloween H2O had already came out the year before, and that was the same fucking neighborhood. So if you're a fan of Halloween, you can see that neighborhood right again here in Idle Hands. It's really cool. He goes over to her house, and he's awkward about it. He can't say things at first, but then the hand does some stuff for him and grabs her ass, and she turns around, and she's like, whoa, I didn't think you had that in you. And it's great how he tries to have to tie his hand up so he can have sex with her. He's like, wait a minute. This is like, once he ties his hand up, he's like, all right, now we can go. Like, I thought that was great. I think this movie is the perfect horror comedy, or comedy horror, right? It's much more of a comedy with horror elements that I can't help but laugh at. I think this movie is so funny. I love the humor in it. I think like everything works. All the jokes are just funny. Like he gets to the point where I have to cut off my own hand. I just have to do it. I have to do it. So he gets the bagel cutter. And he's like, all right, here we go. And fucking Eldon Henson walks in and goes, that thing barely will cut my bagel. You think it's going to cut your hand off? And he goes, ah, and it doesn't do shit. And then he's trying to cut his own hand off with a meat cleaver, and his hand keeps moving out of the way. And then, of course, he comes to Seth Green. Hey, give me that electric knife. Look at me, I'm Leatherface. And he comes over, and they cut his hand off, and then the hand is running around on its own. And you might be curious, how'd they do that? It's the same actor and same effect as the Addams Family movies from the early 90s, the Barry Sonnenfeld ones. It's the same actor. It's, of course, I want to get his name right here. What was his name? Oh, geez, I forget the actor's name, but he plays the fucking decapitated. Someone might be able to tell me in the comments, but it's the same actor who played the hand in Addams Family movies from the early 90s. So they got him back because it was like, you did a great job hand acting in those movies. Why not come and be the idle hand in our movie? I thought that was really clever. There's the fun scene where the cops come in and they're pointing the guns, and he's like, "Cuff me! Put your hands up! Cuff me! Put your hands up!" Again, another Abbott and Costello thing of this, like, who's on first, right? And then, cuff me! And then it gets to the stabs the guy with a metal rod, and then tases Justin Whalen from the people under the stairs till his face fries. I thought that was so much fun. I was like, holy cow, like, that is such a fucking crazy way to kill somebody. And then it all basically culminates to this big Halloween party dance, right? This is a great movie to watch on Halloween night with a bunch of friends. As you know, they go to this dance. Of course, Vivica A. Fox is like a priestess, and she's trying to kill the idle hand, and she kind of eventually hooks up with Jake Noseworthy, and they're on the hunt to try to find this guy. And Devon Sawa, when they're going to the dance, he hits her with the fucking car. She flies back like 30 yards. CPR, you got some bad breath. And all right, we've got to go get him. The whole thing culminates at this fun dance, and you get all these fun, creative kill scenes with the hand, right? You have this guy who's dressed up as Kiss, like he's dressed up as Gene Simmons. And of course, you know, he's making out with his girl. He's feeling her giant yits, some of the nicest yits. I think Kelly Monaco is the actress. Holy fucking yits. Better than anything in Urban Legend for me. And Cherry Falls for that lady's yits alone. He's feeling her yits, and then you see the hand kind of peeks up and is feeling her yits too, and she notices, and they both get killed. Great stuff. You have the lead singer. It's the Offspring. The Offspring's on stage singing, "I want to be sedated. Hurry, 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 before I go insane. Oh, 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 oh. Ba, 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 ba. I want to be sedated." As all these kids at the dance are kind of, you know, dancing, partying, have a good time, and this hand kind of comes and starts wreaking havoc. It kills the principal. It rips off the lead singer's head. It scalps him. And then it gets to this whole thing where it kills this one lady in the air fan. Like, it ties her up and pulls her up, and when the air fan turns on, she gets shredded into a million pieces. I was like, holy cow. Like, the kills got very creative towards the end of this thing. And then the whole finale of Jessica Alba is being like sacrificed up to a car to like a pagan sign. And, the whole kind of finale pays out from there. They play this fucking, the carburetor looking bong to make the hand stone so it'll let go and they can vanquish the evil hand with like this magic sword. I mean, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. It's bonkers. It's insanity. But I think in a way, like I said before, how it's heartfelt horror, it has such a nice heart to it. It has a nice charm. It's truly just a fun time. And I absolutely, like, people say before, or at least I said before, this is a turn your brain off movie, Urban Legend. This is a movie where, like, I'm alert, I'm fun, I'm laughing, I'm having a great time. I just love that. I thought that was so much fun. Like, everything about it, the characters, the acting, the interactions, the soundtrack, just great stuff. You have the Dragula from Rob Zombie, a lot of good songs, just a lot of fun performances and interactions and laugh out loud comedy scenes. And like Seth Green said, everybody was trying to make a different movie, but they somehow, some way stumbled upon a movie that has become a cult classic. Now, of course, upon its release, this was a monumental flop. And I did the math on the numbers. I actually, if I was the producer of this movie or like involved financially, I probably would have had an aneurysm or a nervous breakdown and would be in an asylum somewhere. Like, that's how bad this movie bombed. Now, of course, this was around the time that Columbine happened, and they were very hesitant to release this in theaters because, of course, Columbine, kids were killed. And the opening scene, you have the parents, one of them played by Fred Willard, they're killed. So the whole idea was, we can't have these parents killed in the opening scene. Like, we're going to delay this movie. And they didn't do that. Maybe they should have. This dropped in April of 1999, and the movie on a budget of $25 million grossed under $5 million, just over $4 million. It's opening weekend. I did the math. They made like $1,117 per theater, and they opened up in 1,600 plus theaters. So you were only like, dude, that is, for an opening weekend, that's insane. They opened up at $1.8 million on their opening weekend against a budget of $25 million. In other words, it was fucking dead on arrival. Absolutely dead on arrival. Like, holy shit. It's such a shame. It's such a fucking shame. Like, I mean, this movie deserved so much better than a $4 million gross. All the actors that were in it have spoken fondly of the film since. It's probably, other than Final Destination, it's Devon Sawa's best performance. Like, I love Devon Sawa in this. And it begs the question, like, why didn't he become bigger, right? Like, I was talking with Merns about this last night. Like, this totally should have been a bigger movie than it was, or he should have had a bigger career than he did. And he really didn't blossom, right? Seth Green probably financially is the most successful, or Jessica Alba, take your pick. Vivica A. Fox has been in like over 200 fucking movies. Vivica Fox is everywhere. But unfortunately, this is just a movie that was dead on arrival, which is a shame because it's, like I said, garnered that big cult following. And like I said, I think it's because of that heartfelt nature of it. And it's fun, splatstick, humor mixed with gore, mixed with creative ideas of horror, mixed with this Argento look, mixed with this fantastic cast. A great soundtrack. It's just the best of both worlds. It's the best of everything. Really, really great movie. I love Idle Hands. Let's see what you'll have to say though, because now I don't think we're going to have any arguments. I'm pretty sure everyone's going to be with me with this. But if you hate Idle Hands, I'm curious to hear from you too. Don't be afraid to voice your opinions on the graveyard here. We will hold Idle Hands together. Jessica Alba was so hot in Idle Hands. Absolutely. I don't know were we anywhere before this? If I skipped anything, sorry. I think we were here. Neo horror, like early 2000s. The FD 180, that's a cool one. And you got Kerr Smith as the fucking, so welcome. That's a first time name, I believe, ever on Grande's Gear. Welcome, Mr. Kerr Smith. I'm not next. So how I define neo horror, this is just me. Like, I don't think there is an official, like, is there an official neo horror page? Like, that's just what I consider these movies. To me, neo horror is, there's the self-aware element. There's either the cover where you have all these fresh, young, up-and-coming faces on the cover. I don't think it has to be a slasher movie. That's what a lot of people, they go, oh, it has to be no. Like, this is not a slasher movie. I think this is absolutely a neo horror movie. Like, it's so satirical and self-aware. Like, to me, that's what makes it neo. Like, those elements. It's the young, fresh, up-and-coming faces. It's generally unknown directors. It's movies that, they either bombed or they did great at the time. Like, there's definitely, like, a lot of elements to me that goes into it. The covers being one of them. Like, the covers where everybody's on there looking at, these CW11 actors. I mean, fuck. Like, that's what I consider neo horror. That's just me, though. That's my definition of it. That's totally a fair rating, Re-Urban. I thought Valentine's absolutely in the mix. Doesn't have to just be the 90s. It could be the 2000s too, the early 2000s. Like that era, right? Where you put pretty looking people in black t-shirts on the cover of your movie to try to sell it because Scream sold a lot of tickets, right? Thoughts on Sometimes They Come Back. My Final Destination rankings were above, said already by the host. Like and subscribe, Grape Troop Chat. Thank you so much. I love Sometimes They Come Back. Funny enough, one of the cops, not Sean Whalen, but the other cop is one of the greasers, and Sometimes They Come Back in this. So you get to see him get his just desserts as he gets this rod shoved through his ears. Idle Hands is great. Love the friends, especially the headless one. Yeah, Eldon Heads, it's great. He's eating the burrito, and it's all oozing out of his neck. Like, he's like, oh, it's delicious. And he's like licking his fingers. Like, oh my God, it's gross. Idle Hands is like a detective story meets The Exorcist. That's an interesting way to put it. I was obsessed with Idle Hands when it came out, watched it recently, and yeah, it's fucking great. I agree, it is fucking great. It really is. It's like just one of my favorite feel-good movies. Heartfelt horror. That's what I think it is. I totally would say a heartfelt horror movie. Like, to me, something that I saw recently that I would compare to it was on Broadway, actually. They had a play that had a very short run. It was called Grey House, and that was heartfelt horror. They had people interviewing when they came out of the theater, and I was like, oh my God, I'll totally do it. Like, maybe my soundbite will show up. And that's what I said in the interview. They said, describe this movie in a few words. And I said, it's heartfelt horror. And she went, I love that. And she turned to the cameraman. I was like, that's totally going to, and it never aired. I was so disappointed. They aired a couple of those clips and it never aired. And Grey House, unfortunately, bombed on Broadway. It didn't do very well. But that was something I compared to Idle Hands. I was like, that has the heart that Idle Hands does. And I hope one day that they're able to make that into a movie. But of course, it bombs on, if you can't make it there, maybe you won't ever make it anywhere. The old saying stays true about New York, as Frank said. Look at me, I'm Leatherface. I love that. I fucking love that. I don't either. But that's what the writer said. The writer was like, yeah, that's what I was going for. He's like, they didn't really do that. So, I mean, he sounds like a good sport about it. He didn't bury the movie at all. Little trivia about Idle Hands. The topless girl in the car was Kelly Monaco, who won the first Dancing with the Stars. That's right. That is absolutely right. So those yits went legit. There was a sci-fi series that Jessica Alba was in called Dark Angel that was produced by James Cameron. Dude, I'd watch anything with Jessica Alba in it, really. Alba is a billionaire, too. She started a natural baby food company. Yes, I would guess Seth Green has got to be up there, too, because of whatever his Family Guy checks are paying, Robot Chicken checks. Like, dude, he's got to be doing well for himself, too. Cherry Falls. We talked about Cherry Falls at the beginning, buddy. Love this movie. Really good one. So, yeah, totally. That's absolutely a neo-horror movie to me. Jessica's series, Dark Angel, is one of my favorite series ever. She'll always be that character to me. Sawa's physical performance is on par. It is. It really is. It totally is on his level. I agree. Like, I thought he did such a good job, like selling it. Like he's like, just run away. He's like, move and I will. Like I love, he's great, man. Devon Sawa is great. He plays the great like stoner loader guy. Like he's so good at it, man. Final Destination, this movie, that's a shame. He didn't really do that much else. SLC Punk, I would say SLC Punk. He's really good as a side role. Funny trivia on Alba. She was once arrested in my city for putting up Save the Sharks posters on government property. We are nowhere near an ocean, too. Wow. That's fucking weird. That's fucking really weird. What the hell? I love how they're dead and they still worried about making burritos. I love, he's like, oh my God, this microwave's a fucking mess. He's like, we should clean it up. And then Seth Green looks at him and goes, and yeah, while we're at it, we should clean the whole fucking house. He goes, fuck this, it ain't our mess. Like, that was great. Oh, yeah, Trench, I like it when he eats the shit. Yeah, it's nasty. The music video they get excited about is Two Live Crews Pop. That okay, there you go. I didn't know that. I don't know if Wrong Turn is close. It's like, to me, that's a borderline neo-horror movie because you could also put the exploitation backwoods on it. But again, it has the young faces like Kevin Zegers. It has Eliza Dushku. It has Desmond Harrington. It has Lindy Booth. Like, it has all those young faces, right? And even the Dawn of the Dead remake saw Wrong Turn, and they take Kevin Zegers and Lindy Booth, and they put them together. So I was like, holy shit. Like, they clearly saw Wrong Turn and went, all right, those two will work as a couple. And I always thought that was kind of a cool thing. I would say it's close. I don't know if it is or not. That's a borderline one for me. Like, flip a coin. And you could say one or the other. Idle Hands feels like it belongs on the same shelf as Beetlejuice. Yes, although I think it's a little more horror than Beetlejuice, but I know what you mean. It has that a similar tone. Vivica Fox was great at that. Would she be a good Pamela Voorhees? Would that make Jason and the lore more interesting by having him be born from a black mother in the 1940s who works at Camp Crystal Lake? Wow, that's a curveball question. Vivica A. Fox is a great actress. She could do anything, in my opinion. LOL, I'm not a fan of that either, so I agree with it being put on the shelf with Beetlejuice. Oh, so you don't like Idle Hands? Okay, I didn't know that. I'm sure there is a suitable black stuntman that could play Jason. That would be really fun. Okay. That's why it looks exactly like the Addams Family hand. Yes, that's right. That is exactly right. Is Seth Green one of the writers too? What do you think of the two Fantastic Fours with Jessica Alba? Seth Green is not one of the writers, but from what I understand in my show prep, he did a lot of improv with Eldon Henson. Like, the two of them were like, let's fucking add as much to this as we can. And there's a commentary on the DVD or Blu-ray with the two of them and the director. And apparently the director the whole time was trying to be very serious, whereas they were just like fucking around. I heard that's a great commentary. I've never heard it though. He was not one of the writers, but he did some improv that does wind up in the film. So there is that. I don't mind the first one. I like the first one because I love Michael Chiklis. Like, Michael Chiklis is was the perfect casting, like perfect as Ben Grimm. And Ben Grimm's here, so he could confirm that. I love the suit. I know a lot of people don't. I liked the suit. It's a lot better than the CGI shit in the Fantastic Four from like 2015 or whatever. I like Jessica Alba. I think she's hot. I like Chris Evans as the Human Torch. Perfect. I think he's even better as Torch than he is as Captain America. I know it's controversial to say, but it's true. Ian Griffud was definitely the like, holy shit, these three famous people and Ian Griffud, it is what it is. But he's okay as Mr. Fantastic. And I loved Julian. What the fuck is his name? Julian, Julian, whatever. He's in Nip Tuck. I can't think of the fucking guy's name. He was Dr. Doom. He's great as Dr. Doom. I really like him. So I like the first one a lot. The second one was a mess Like, they made Galactus into a fucking cloud. Does anybody remember that? They turned Galactus into a cloud. Even, what the fuck? What year did that come out? 2007? That would have been 10-year-old John Grande had a fucking aneurysm in the theater. They turned my boy Galactus into a cloud. I've shit on Valentine's tonight. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry for that. But there is no fucking forgiving turning Galactus into a fucking cloud. They don't goddamn forgive it. I don't care. So the hand is, yeah, that's right. That's the right. I meant the hand is thing. Got thing confused with Cousin It. Okay. When did you first see the Faculty in Idle Hands? Wow. Would have been video store rentals. The Faculty I saw first for sure, and Idle Hands was later. Like, Idle Hands, I was in high school when I saw it, and it was the perfect time to see it, right? Because high school, heartfelt horror. Today was my first watch of Idle Hands. I didn't get the humor right away, but once I got it, I had fun with it. Yeah, that's understandable. Like, I totally could see someone watching this and not getting the humor in it, but I think it's funny as shit. Like, it's totally my humor in this movie. They killed the dude for the Offspring in it. 10 out of 10. It's close. It's really close to, like, if you're asking me as far as neo horror movies, this is a top 10, maybe a top 5, top 3, like, absolutely in there. But again, I know there'll probably be people that argue with me if it is a neo horror movie or not. Yes, it's the cover of the remote song. Hurry, 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 before I go insane. How do you select the topics of your show? Truly a great host and fun topics. Thank you. I just try to be as variety driven as possible. Like, I'm not going to throw names, and I won't. And I don't even need names. I really don't have names in mind to throw. But there are a lot of channels that talk about the same fucking shit every week, and it's boring to me. I don't need to hear about Halloween every fucking week of my life. It's fucking played out to me. I also like to jump to different cultures, right? Like, we go to Italy, we go to Japan, we'll go to Mexico, we'll go to Canada, we'll go all over the globe in all different, like, time eras, and we'll go to TV. We'll go to actors. Like, I just try to keep it as well-rounded as possible to avoid getting stale. I know it's not a big channel. It probably never will be a big channel because of the style. There's a lot of probably reasons why it has never taken off to the umpteenth degree. But this is just how I like doing it. And it's like, I enjoy the niche. Like, I love all these people. I appreciate all of you. Like, I just like doing this show from a selfish standpoint. Like, Grande's Screamer, don't make us think about it. It's a selfish thing I do. Like, I like it, just for how I go about it. So that's kind of why, or how I come up with topics. It's just, I try to avoid ever getting stale. And like, it can happen. I've seen it happen to even people that are good. They grow stale, like, with just doing the same shit over and over. Like, I don't know. It's hard to avoid. I get it. It's not easy. But, like, to me, I sit down and I'm just like, what haven't I done in a while? And it's like, okay, let's do that. Like, that's my mentality. Idle Hands over Urban Legend. It's just such a fun horror comedy. Plus, them still worrying about the food when they're dead is my spirit animal. I love at the very end where they're like, well, should we tell them we wrote that on the ceiling? And they're like, nah, let's just go walk through a nurse. And then they play the Ramones cover again. I want to be sedated. Great stuff. Idle Hands is only watchable due to Seth Green. Not much into too much silly comedy horror. It's all right, but barely watchable to me. It kind of deserves a 3.7 out of 10 on IMDb. Rusty, I feel like, I'm so happy that we're finally the other opposite side here. I feel like I'm always the one bashing a movie you love. So I'm so happy you're bashing a movie I love. Like, that, I'm happy about that. I really am. Like, I am really happy about that. So I would respectfully disagree. I love Idle Hands. Touchy subject. That is a great question. I have not seen that in a really long time. That was one that we talked about in school. That was a middle school discussion because they showed, what was it was Super Size Me, right? They showed Super Size Me for Morgan Spurlock, another guy who's sadly gone. Rest in peace. They showed that, and then we got into, like, oh, what's other ones we're going to watch? And this was one that came up. We didn't watch it, but of course, that was a huge thing at the time. As far as the documentary itself is very controversial, I think Michael Moore is a fat fuck. I'm not skinny myself, but I think he's a fat fuck. I don't like him at all. His Canadian Bacon movie fucking sucks. And I like Canadian Bacon. And I'm sad that is John Candy's last fucking credited movie, is that piece of shit movie. I don't like Michael Moore, the guy, at all. But Bowling for Columbine struck a nerve and was very relevant at the time of its release, and really That's something I'd have to rewatch to give you my honest thoughts, because I saw it. You got to understand, I saw that through a middle schooler's eyes. So I would have to again give that a rewatch through 28-year-old's eyes. I think that would work a lot better. So I will get there one day. Bong Rip score, 6 soundtrack, Jessica Alba. You can't go wrong. Is there a better review than that? That's perfect. Devon Sawa and the Fanatic, Hunter Dunbar. Hugh Grant for Pinhead. What? That's I loved Hugh Grant and Heretic. Best neo horror icon: Katie Holmes, Disturbing Behavior, Jennifer Love Hewitt. I know. If you're asking me out of those two, I would take Katie Holmes is probably more attractive, but she was really bland in that movie. I don't know. Best horror icon, best neo horror icon would have to be Nev Campbell if you're going to Final Girl. SLC Punk, hell yeah, dude, I love SLC Punk is a fucking great movie. Sawa was the real. That's right, dude. He made back-to-back movies where he gets to make out with Christina Ricci at the end. So, and granted, she was like, they were both really young, but I mean, Black Snake Mode, Christina Ricci, come on. We were talking about how much I had a big crush on Christina Ricci last week. He got to kiss her in that and Now and Then, back-to-back years, back-to-back movies. It's like, dude, and he got to make out with Jessica Alba in this. Dude, Devon Sawa had it pretty cool. And Ali Larder. Holy shit, man. Devon Sawa is like low-key a G. Paranormal Song came out popular. This movie I remembered for Song of Pop. Okay. What's your thoughts on Finn Wolfhard? Dude, I heard about that. I don't like the It remake at all. And I know he was a part of that. I know he's the Stranger Things. I've heard that he is a diehard horror fan, but I believe if you watch that rant on me making fun of the Bill Skarsgård It movie, I said that Phil Wolfhard should retire. I said that in that video. So I am not too excited if I'm judging his past work. But I'm open-minded. I don't think this is a movie you can really remake, though. Like, this is one place, one time, one big mess that somehow became this fucking cult classic. Like, that's what Idle Hands is. I don't think you could remake it. It's like, that's a time capsule movie. First Fantastic Four is fun. The second one has good moments. Galactus and Silver. Yeah, the Silver Surfer didn't look bad, but it was done bad. And Galactus was a fucking cloud. And I remember even as a kid being like, what the fuck? Like, I remember my grandmother took me to see that. And I remember we got in the car. She said, did you like it? I said, yeah, it was okay. But why the fuck was Galactus a cloud? She didn't know who the fuck Galactus was. She was like, I don't fucking know. Should Travis Kelce reboot Idle Hands? He said he's a fan in an interview. Did he fucking really? Is Idle? What? That's so random. Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift gets replayed. Travis Kelce plays Devon Sawa and fucking Taylor Swift plays Jessica Alba. That sounds like a bad fucking dream. No, he was a space tornado. Idle kind of feels like if they let a Disney Channel movie or whatever the fuck they want. That's a great analogy. Yes, it really is. It's the lost Disney Channel original movie. That's also fucking amazing. It had a $25 million budget. What is Devon Sawa's ethnicity? I don't know. I'm not sure. I mean, I think he's Caucasian, but I don't know. Yeah, that cloud shit was ridiculous. They did a similar thing with, no, man, you just don't turn your fucking villains into fucking clouds. Nice show, Grande, even if you divided your audience. Dude, yeah, I've never been so outnumbered there. As a mod, I put the host in timeout. Oh my gosh, LOL, I'm kidding. Seriously, though, fun show. Thank you, Miss C. Silver Surfer was BS, but the voice by, oh, dude, yeah, Lawrence Fishburne was great. It just, I don't know, man. Like, that movie was kind of a mess. Yeah, you always keep it different and fun. That's what I try to do. And Parallax and Green Lantern. Okay. Amen. Preach Grande. Too many predictable. Yeah, no, it's just too much of the same. Like rinse, wash, repeat. You're welcome. It did feel good. See, it's fun to be on the other side of the coin. Yes, I talked about the Manitou like a few months back. I'd see Denise Rizzo. Okay, interesting. Has a warlock growing on her. Yeah, that's right. She has the Native American midget growing out of her back. You dance to the beat of your own drum, but you do not shy away from recommendations. Either you bring a lot of people together and also talk about more than just horror. You love movies and your past. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yes, that's a good way to put it. Yes, like that's why I like doing the roundtable shows too. Like you get all these different perspectives from all these different people from different backgrounds and upbringings. It's not just my voice every week. Granted, I have a loud voice, and again, I could be too harsh, right? But I'm honest too. I'm never trying to bullshit you guys. Like I'm never going to really sugarcoat, and that could be a make or break for some people. Usually, it's I always say this: there's not toxic negativity. There's toxic positivity. It's like if something sucks, say it. Like, why is everyone, oh, I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. Like, no, let it be honest. Like, why would you beat around the bush when you don't have to? Shines Bright. You should look up the Robot Chicken parody of this called Idol Dust. I did. I see that. That's great. The Knitting Needle Death. Oh my God. Yes, that's right. It is goated. That is goated. Manitou was like the original Malignant. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Finn Wolfhard. What other horror movies should have been made at this time? A Meta Exorcist. They made Exorcist in like the early 2000s. They did 2 Exorcist movies that didn't work. No, Exorcist would not have worked with this time period, I don't think. I mean, listen, they made so much. It's hard to say what didn't they fucking make, you know? Like, I don't know. It was just so overflooded. Idle Hands the musical. I don't know about that. Maybe a Misery prequel starring Roseanne. Oh my God, could you imagine? That would be a nightmare too. You'd be down for the Idle Hands stage musical. Okay. JoJo 1996. This movie scared me the first time seeing it. JoJo 1996. That's another first time name. Welcome. I was probably 7 or 8 years old. Okay, fair enough. The musical can be hilarious. Really? Okay, so you guys are in agreement that Idle Hands should become a fucking musical. That would be something else. Coming in with a rating on this, I'm going to come in with like a 9 out of 10. I love Idle Hands. I think Idle Hands is a very, very fun movie. It never fails to make me smile. This is a movie that if you're in a bad mood, if you're having a sad day, life's beating you to your knees, put on Idle Hands. It'll put a smile on your face from ear to ear. That's why I love Idle Hands. That's really why I think it's really a shame it didn't make noise when it came out, but it shows how good it is because it's 25 plus years later and we are still talking about Idle Hands style Grande's Graveyard. So really good stuff. Not Roseanne, maybe 90s Alicia Witt. 90s Alicia Witt playing the Kathy Bates role. That's interesting. You're the male version of Mona Lisa Vito from My Cousin Vinny, which is why I love you. Thank you, Rusty. I appreciate that. See, it's a nice world when you can disagree with people and still be buddies and love each other. Like that, like, again, that's lost, right? A lot of people, it's like, oh, you don't agree with me? Click. Like, that's it. Like, I'm like, I want to hear the other Sleepaway Camp poster in the background. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, Sleepaway Camp 3 is goated. It is another goated thing. So yeah, guys, that was the Neo Horror Special number 2. Of course, we reviewed Cherry Falls at the beginning, which I gave an 8 out of 10. Reviewed Urban Legend, which, yeah, controversial take on this. I gave it a 3 out of 10. I tried to give it a 4 out of 10, but I couldn't find the 4th point. So 3 out of 10. And then lastly, and mostly, was Idle Hands, which I give it 9 out of 10. Really love this movie. And it was fun to do this. Of course, I'm open to doing more Neo Horror specials. I think this is a fun show. It seemed like the chat was really into this. So I'll totally bring Neo Horror Special number 3 down the road for sure. Where we'll pick 3 new Neo Horror movies to cover. Let's see. Yeah, Kathy Bates was the main character in Castle Rock season 2. Oh, Young Cat. That's right. They go into Annie Wilkes. I've heard that's awesome. I haven't seen that though. Yeah, never. I want to hate. Like, why? Like, what? I don't get it. They could turn that movie into a musical. Okay, everyone's up for the Idle Hands musical. Honestly, I don't remember liking it. I saw it once. I can't stand Ben Affleck though, and I know the whole joke. Ben Affleck was the bomb in Phantoms, yo. I don't like Phantoms from what I remember. I'd have to rewatch it, though. It's been so long. It really has. Played by Lizzie Kaplan. Lizzie Kaplan. What the fuck was Lizzie Kaplan in? Is Lizzie Kaplan from Cloverfield? Is it the same Lizzie Kaplan? Have you ever seen Idle Hands alternate ending? It's a lot more wild than what we got. Yes, that's right. And they break the 4th wall, right? They say, like Seth Green's like, that's it? It just disintegrated? Like, what the heck? I watched it on YouTube last night. And it's like the whole portal. And I don't think it really fit with the tone of the movie. Like, I agree with the ending they went with. It made more sense. But I totally, yeah, it's wild. It's definitely a fucking wow. Unfortunately, I did mention that. It bombed. It lost. I don't know what they spent to market it, but it's probably in the ballpark of like a $40 to $50 million loss, right? Because the production budget was 25. They grossed back 4. Who the fuck knows what they used to promote it? So I don't know. I mean, they probably lost in the ballpark of 40 to 50, and that could even be being generous. Great show, man. Really fun. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. You guys a lot of you were here for the beginning, so thank you. Misery prequel in 1997 with Alicia Witt or Christy Swanson would have been good, baby. I love both those actresses, so that would be cool. Christy Swanson was another big crush. Mean Girls, she plays Janice. That's Lizzie Kaplan. Oh, man, I don't know. Maybe I got the wrong person. I don't know. Prophecy favorite aspects. I don't know if I've ever seen the prop. I don't know if I've seen that. Yes, she's in Cloverfield. That's okay. I got the right person. Haha, I bet turning Sleepaway Camp into a musical. Oh, Sleepaway Camp into a musical. Could you fucking imagine that shit? I mean, you have the song, right? Especially the sequels, the Happy Camper song. Lizzie Kaplan, yes, from Cloverfield. Okay, that's awesome. I got to see that. I was in trouble with you when I dared to say I like Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake. LOL, but love you, Grande rants at the graveyard. Thank you. I love you too. Happy birthday too early. It's not neo horror, but do you like Communion from 1990? Yes, I do. That's an awesome movie. And of course, another movie that was called Communion, Alice, Sweet Alice, which is another great movie. Great, and not controversial show, John. Yeah, of course, Mitzi. You know me. I'm always with the crowd. I never have anything controversial to say that will upset people. No, Castle Freak Belongs is a one and done. That's a great fucking movie. That's Jeffrey Combs and Barbara Crampton especially are great at that. Christy Swanson and Deadly Fred. That's right. The basketball scene. Happy birthday. Deadly Fred is awesome. Absolutely. Yeah, no, that's the basketball scene alone with Ann Ramsey. Great stuff. But everybody, thank you so much for watching tonight. I had a really fun time. The chat was booming, and I appreciate you all. Next week, I believe it is Tales from the Crypt. Season 6. Yes, Season 6 of Tales from the Crypt. I'm very much looking forward to that. Of course, diving back into that show. It's been a while, I think, since October, since I looked at Tales from the Crypt. So we'll be getting our TV horror on. And then, of course, coming up, of course, will be the following week, I think, is we're going to do a vampire special. And then the week after that, Mateo's coming on, and we're going to do a Quentin Tarantino triple feature only on the Graveyard. So I'll be posting for that soon. You guys will see what that is when I do post it. It'll be soon, probably early next week. And thank you guys so much. So everybody, thank you guys so much for watching tonight. Get your neo slasher horror on, whatever the hell you want to call it. Comment down below if you're catching the replay. Let me know what you thought of these 3 movies, and we will catch you next time. Only on the Graveyard. Too sweet peace. Have a nice weekend, everybody. Cheers. Go Steelers.